Hey everybody, hey everybody. It is Elsa 932 on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me, joining us. We have a panel here. You will see some new faces and you'll see some of our regular faces, okay? So I always want to, spice things up. And when my girl hit me up and said, "Girl, tap me in, tap me in. I got lots to say about this cast." We are definitely going to tap her in. But before I tap her in and let you know who this lovely lady is and bring forth one of my other guests from the backstage, let me just thank Ari for blessing the channel. Thank you so much, Ari. You know, I got to get at the birds dance for you. Thank you. Yes, let the girls dance. Thank you so much for always supporting the channel. Sam is here. Sam, I got some information for you, okay? Hey, Jay Blake, glad to have you here. Lady Lyrics, whoa, you are here. Rejection is protection. You know, I love your name. You know, I love your name. Hey, Dahlia, you'll be free in a bit. Okay, well, let's see where we get to. Okay, I did send you the link in your email. Okay, so we have one of my friends here, Tasha. Tasha and I know each other in real life. Okay, in 4 HD. Just telling people hi, Tasha.
Hello, everyone. Nice seeing you all. And thank you for the welcomes. I appreciate that.
No problem. And y'all, we have our UK connection. As always, we have Life is Reality. Hey, how are you this evening?
All good, thank you. Hope all is well.
All is well. Sunshine and rainbows over here. You know, we are here for episodes 5 through 8, y'all. I hope you all have caught up. I hope you all have caught up because we're going to be talking about everything that's going on. And we're going to be talking couple by couple. So, Tasha, since this is your first time with us, I will give you the honor of starting us off.
Sure. So you want me to start off like with a specific couple?
I want you to pick a couple.
I'm probably gonna pick the most dramatic couple is Katisha and Javin.
Okay. Katisha and Javin. Okay.
Yes.
I gotta adjust this. You start us off with the conversation while I adjust this so Life is Reality isn't completely blocked off by Katisha and Javin.
So, oh my God. You know what? There's a lot I can say about this couple, but I want to first off and say that Katisha seemed like a really nice, young lady, but I feel like she is all over the place. I don't think she really wants anybody, to be honest with you. And I know we left off in the last episode where she left her ring and everything and walked out on him. But I really did not want her to pick him. I just kind of knew right off. I don't know, Javin he also doesn't seem like he's wanting to be married and, he's ready for that next step. I mean, his family kind of sister alluded to that, but yeah, I didn't like them together at all. I didn't want them to be together. I wish she had chosen Demola, but then I feel like she would have been kind of shady if she had chosen him. She would have been shady with him as well. So, yeah.
Life is Reality. Kick us off with what you have to say while I'm still trying to fix this.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with what Tasha said. I know that Javon has taken a lot of heat because of how he portrayed himself on the show. Katisha, I think she's been given a lot of grace, but I don't think she would have been right for Demola anyway if she had chosen him. He's not who she was looking for. That's why I think she went with Javin, who's more familiar, as she says, in how guys treat her and what she's used to experiencing. So unfortunately, this couple don't look like they're going to make it. And I hope Demola holds his head up and doesn't take it too personal, on his experience.
I hope Demola doesn't take it too personally. I agree with you. You know, this is all part of his journey. This is all part of what's going to happen. Here's my thing with this with this couple. I said from early that Katisha and Javin were the same person. Earlier,
Mhm.
she didn't show much emotion to Demola when stuff was going on. And she, even though she was sympathetic, it didn't land with me with talking about grandma and stuff like that. So for me, when I saw this and I saw her flip, go back to the usual, I said, okay, but maybe, as the name says in the chat, rejection is protection for Demola. And, Javin has not completely changed who he is. He has
Mhm.
not changed his stripes. She did not recognize exactly what was going on with him, or maybe she just knew it and just figured, hey, I can manage being with him. Um, I was totally turned off from Javin with just sharing their intimate parts of their relationship, like he just jump on to just
Mhm.
automatically do that. I was livid. But you know, the point I'm trying to think is, I don't know if Katisha has totally learned from this. I've
Mhm.
watched some of her interviews, I've seen some of the things, and what I really got really heated about with her, she never said she was sorry to Demola, and she was happy with that. Oh no, I didn't tell him sorry, because she's not sorry.
Mhm.
My thing is, if I've hurt someone, or if something like that where I've given my word and y'all tell me in my recap that I'm on her neck, when I
Mhm.
give my word and somebody gives me their word, I gotta know that I can trust you. And if you do that and you flip on me and you promise, hey, this is us together, if you promise me and you go back on your word, we have a problem.
Yeah, agreed. And I know I looked at, I always like to look at the meet the cast online, and it kind of gives they kind of give a little excerpt themselves of kind of like what they're looking for. And Jabin was very specific. He said that he attracts the wrong type of girls, and he is really trying to break out of that. But I'm like, dude, you were trying to talk to every girl, seemed like on the show with that last episode. And I really, really hope that Netflix shows that scene that we did not get to see, where they're saying that he was talking to several girls, including Sophie, and he went into the photo booth and all of that. I really, really want them to show that episode so we can see, because he claims that what is his boy's name, that's married to Meg. I mean, that's engaged to Meg. He
Kieran.
claims, yeah,
Kieran.
Kieran. He claims that Kieran and Meg are lying, but I don't know what they would lie for. Like, why would they go to that great lengths to do that? But I know it wouldn't change anything in the scheme of things with Katisha, but I really want them to show that episode, because I want to see from my own eyes like what happened that night.
Yeah, because he is out here, Javin, out here, dragging Kieran's name through the filth.
Mm-hmm.
He is calling him all kind of punk AB. He is calling him out of his name. And I'm like, okay, it's been a year, okay?
Right.
Maybe you should pump the brakes. It's been a year. Why are you still so heated about this? If it's, nothing that you had to worry about, if it's nothing, and just because Kieran has his lady's back, or maybe even if he is misinformed, he saw the same wrong thing. I just was like, the vim that you still have today for Kieran just isn't adding up for me.
Right.
Maybe JR, you could explain to us why, you fellas usually say, hey, bro code, we done, we say our piece, we done. It seemed
Mm-hmm.
like, Javin's still on it.
Yeah, it does. I think you're right. It was filmed last year, but the show's current. Like, so maybe they're watching it back for the first time now and it's dredging up. They have to clear up some of the things that we're seeing. But I do think I saw him, I saw Sophie, I saw a few others. I think what we need to see is Sophie and the other ladies in question actually detail what happened, rather than going off of what Megan and Kieran saw. We
Mm-hmm.
need the ladies who he was actually speaking to, clear the water, clear the air on what the speculation is, because after all, he was talking to them. So if we hear it from any other sources, it's secondhand information. So
Mm-hmm.
we hear it from the horse's mouth, and that will corroborate what he said, or it will corroborate what Kieran and Megan said.
Yeah, because what he does not need is Mr. Spleen, okay, Patrick, being his character witness in all of this. Because once he called him, I said, game over.
Right. He is not credible.
Not credible. We cannot interview his spleen directly. So leave Patrick out of this, please. But it was very interesting to see that, who went out, who stayed home. And,
Mm-hmm.
he's going around pleading the case that certain things are edited, okay? That he
Mm-hmm.
did ask Katisha to come back out with them. He did ask her repeatedly and she refused. But, sir, you still got your coat and left.
Right.
You still left. So,
Yeah.
are you really ready for marriage and all it entails? Because the sister told us a
Mm-hmm.
whole lot.
Yes.
Mm.
Shout
Yes.
out to the families who take care of our pets when we go away. The sister said, I've been, say what now? I've been engaged and planning my wedding for 18 months. He ain't ready. The
No.
siblings this season has told all the truth. And I love
Yes.
it. I hope they're at the
Yes.
reunion.
Yes, me too.
JR, is your sister going to put you out like that?
No, but then again, I ain't them guys. So
Right.
yeah, but yeah, I think that scene where she had come back from sitting down with the molar to clear the air,
Mm-hmm.
and she got back to the apartment, and he, they spoke about it briefly. She didn't want to go into too much detail. In fact, she was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to bed, and kind of left the room or whatever, left him in it by himself. That to me showed the sign of where their connection actually is, because rather than be inquisitive or even wanting to console her if it was tough on her to go and talk, he
Mm-hmm.
didn't do that.
Yep.
He literally just said, okay, well, you're going to bed, I'm not. And
Yep.
then put in his stuff and went out. And then when he got back to the apartment, yeah, it's like he didn't really care about what she'd gone through. But what he did say, which I did agree with, is if it was bothering you, there's something troubling you, communicate. Like, the connection isn't strong enough for me to be able to gauge everything, every emotion, every facial expression or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you need to communicate if something's up, and then we can try and discuss it and resolve it. He's not a mind reader, and I don't think their connection is as strong as what she may have thought it was for him to actually have come in the room and stayed with her overnight.
Yeah, agreed. I thought the same thing. But I think that with her, that's probably what she's done in her previous relationships. When something is bothering her, she does not speak up. I just think that's the way she communicates. But I said the same thing, like, girl, you got to tell him like what's bothering you. He doesn't know you like that to, read body language and know you that intimately. Like, when you've been with a person a while, you can look at them and say, oh, I can look at them and tell, okay, something is bothering them. No, you all are not at that level. She should have opened her mouth. She knew was something was bothering, and what was bothering her was that he was talking to Sophie. Period. She just should have said, I'm upset because you talking to something, and rather than go to the bed and start crying. Like, that's not gonna solve anything. You should have told him.
Exactly.
I agree with that.
The pillow is still going to be wet come morning and nothing solved. And
Right.
even if what she said in the morning was correct, oh, I was concerned you're going to be, that was, I think, an excuse. But then you say that ahead of time. Okay, you're going out. I'd rather you stay in. But if you're going out, please don't indulge too much. We
Mm-hmm.
have a meeting with my family tomorrow, and I don't want you to come off as tipsy or hungover. You can say that. You
Mm-hmm.
can speak up and say that to him. Say, hey, I'm not going out. we had enough, or I had enough. And, could you stay in? But if you're not, just, taper it off, with a little fun. You already know you can't trust him to behave when you are present at the
Right.
bar. He
Right.
talking, he flirting,
I mean,
Anu had to lift his jaw up when Yolanda walked in.
yes. And he talked to her for a while.
Long time. So again, you could not trust his behavior at the bar where you were present. Why did you think him leaving would be nobody would come back and tell you stories like Megan did? Come on now.
Right. She looked so shocked.
Right. And the other thing is, even though Sophie and a few of the other cast members who are not in relationships were there, Megan and Kieran were there. So there are clearly other couples there too. So the other side of it is, okay, if you're feeling down about the Mola and the conversation that was had, let's go out and have some fun together. Because let's remember, they met behind it, like in the pods. So, and I'll also flip that by saying it's kind of too early for you to be like, you know what, I've got my missus at home and I'm going to go out and party with everybody else.
Yeah.
So I can see both.
Yeah.
Like you should now be getting to know each other in person. I know you spent a little time away abroad and now you're back in a home setting. What's the rush to go out and spend time with other people? You still should be getting to know each other. So again, that's another sign where the connection actually is.
Yeah, that's who he is, though. That's what, he did that because that's probably what he normally does. He just goes out. I just think that's just who he is. And also I'll go back to, he knew he made a mistake. He shouldn't have told her yes in the pods. He should have told her no. Like, we're not getting engaged. I'm not ready. I'm not there yet. Because he's acting that way.
Right. His behavior told her no. She should have said no at that point. His behavior from the point where he, the half done notes, okay? The I ain't doing no grand gestures, so don't look for it from me. To I ain't never been in a serious relationship. To I ain't even brought a suit here to be able to propose to someone and my ankle socks is showing.
Right.
To I ain't trying to have dinner with you 3-4 nights a week. You just gonna have to deal with it. I'm gonna be in bed by 9:30, whether you up or not. It was just too many things. He was not including a partner in his life other than to fill a need, an itch, or a scratch. I don't know what it is for Javian, but he did not sound like you are going to be my wife. When we first heard him, marriage lets the man live longer. I mean, dude, are we here for mutual or are we here just to help you live longer?
Right.
It just felt like a lot of selfishness, a selfishness that people would expect to hear from someone like me who's an only child. But you're hearing this from this young man, and sometimes, not always, this could be the superstar syndrome. Is Javan still a superstar, soccer player, football player? That's what it sounded like to me. It's like all the girls should want me. Everybody should want my autograph. I'm still a rising star. My star ain't shooting star ain't coming to the ground yet. It's just a little too much. But that whole laugh, smile, my thing is, for someone like Javan who laugh and smiling all the time, what happens when he's mad? What happens when we know? I need to see the other side of that mask. Whole other side of that mask for me to understand and truly, know all parts of him, because not just Javan, just even Damola. How does he get if he's angry? How does he get when he's frustrated? Any of the men, the laugh. What happens at that point?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The problem with that though is you'd have to get them to that point in order for them to see how they react. And that wouldn't be advisable to pick a fight just to see, or to do something like that. So, but we did actually get to see Javon heated and under pressure with Kieran and Megan when he invited them over. We saw how he handled that. Now, he didn't necessarily lose his temper and use cuss words and anything like that, but he was very serious in his point. and he wasn't afraid to call out what he thought was untrue, mistruths being spread about him. Katisha wasn't there to see that, by the way. So,
Right.
you know, but ultimately, if I feel like if Javon presented himself a different way, i.e., came more prepared,
Mm-hmm.
more intentional, more partner oriented,
Mm-hmm.
Katisha probably wouldn't have chosen, because that's exactly what Demola seemed prepared, and he was talking about the future and them together and everything like that, and that gave her the ick for whatever reason.
It did.
She wasn't comfortable going with that. Right up until 23 hours 59 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
she was leading him on to believe that he was the one. But then she decided to go with what she knew, which was the lack of preparation, the lack of talking
Mm-hmm.
about anything serious, the lack of future,
Mm-hmm.
and because Javon didn't offer any of that, but
Mm-mm.
yet he still won the day. So I think Katisha probably wouldn't have been attracted to Javon if he was more similar to how Demola was coming into the experiment.
Yeah, she's very insecure, but I can also say that Javin is very insecure as well. I think he puts up a lot of different faces because he said, he does not trust women. He told her in the pods, I had a really bad relationship, and I really believe him. I really believe whatever relationship that he was in, it really messed him up really, really bad. And I believe that he acts out because of that. Now, I'm not saying completely, but I believe that last relationship had a lot to do with how he behaves. So
Yeah, I can see that if I believe that last relationship, because it's twofold. First, you
yeah.
ain't never been in a relationship ever, and then the last relationship you had, you were given 100%. I don't know. He hasn't, told fibs before. He has not that we know of. So, but I take it with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
But definitely I think Katisha is in the same realm as Javin, not ready for the marriage. She made her
No.
decision, but I don't
Mm-mm.
think some of these people think about marriage.
Mm-mm.
You are getting married, you are blending not just you with this person, your entire life, your families, your pets, your work life balance. It has to encompass a whole other person. Have they thought about this? Because the way they're moving, the way Katisha is moving, is like this man meaning Javin, has said nothing about the future look of you being the mother of his children, of you being his wife. Nothing. He didn't even tell you like how Billy was telling Ashley, I'd like to take you to a two-step.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Yet he's the one chosen.
But she was okay with that because you remember when they were at on their honeymoon or whatever, and she said, "Oh yeah," to all the other couples, "Yeah, we don't get together. We've decided that's okay if it doesn't work out." I'm like, "Oh, okay, y'all already talking about it now not working out." Like, wow. So it's like they see the writing on the wall, but they want to go through the motions. They see the writing on the wall. He sees it, she sees it, that she knows deep down inside that she should not be with him. She knows that, but I don't know.
Okay, I have one other panelist join us. You ready, panelists? Okay, okay. I don't want to put you out there. Hey, Dahlia. Oh, look at wonderful in
Hello.
the pink. You coming to hit us with the pink look.
Just for y'all.
Muted.
How are you guys?
Good, how are you?
Good. It's blazing hot, but other than
Well,
that, yeah, I'm great.
muted.
Whew.
I can hear her.
I can't.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I
I
can
can
hear.
hear you, but Life is Reality cannot. Life is Reality,
Oh,
you want to drop down? Can
Yeah,
y'all in the chat? Can the Tasha? Can you hear her?
I can hear him.
Chat, can you let us know a one in the chat if you can hear Dahlia? Give us a one. Okay, you all can hear Dahlia. Okay, y'all can hear Dahlia. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Dahlia. We're gonna bring Life is Reality back up.
okay. I missed the last, I think, 20 seconds of what you guys were talking about, but I finally got caught up with all the episodes, and I, I'm putting on my conspiracy cap right now, okay? Because this whole Katisha, Javin, Demola situation is really weird to me. Like the level of production that is involved is sky high. It is the highest I've ever seen for this particular show. And the reason why I say that is because everybody and their mama was asking Katisha especially, hey, what's going on with Demola? How you feeling about that? Demola. It's like, what do you care? That's weird. Um, the fact that they felt the need to have a conversation with Demola afterwards, like not just her, but Javin too, even though Javin had nothing to do with any of this. Like, why? That's weird. Um, and I genuinely believe, I think Javin and Patrick were both producer plants, and they did not expect Katisha to actually pursue him. I think they thought that she was going to go with the smart choice, Demola, and then that didn't happen. So then they had to recover, and I was okay. So we'll let her say yes, and then we're going to figure out a way to get him the heck out of there, because there's literally no reason why any of this is happening otherwise. That's my conspiracy.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, because Cal was even too concerned for me. Like he was going overboard
Yeah.
too. He's another one. Like that's out of the blue. Like why?
Well.
Drink
Now
your water, Mama
the fellas like to speak up for each other. Okay, the fellas like to speak
Man.
up for each other when the boy been done wrong, even though he only been my boy for 10 days.
Right,
Okay,
but he going
you know,
overboard.
but I had to come to a realization to myself. I always say that how gonna be your best friend after 10 days, but hey, then I gotta say, how can you be engaged to be married for 10 days? So all these people are in hyper, situations that we won't understand. We won't, we have not experienced ourselves. So I have to give Cal and all of those the benefit of the doubt that you can become BFFs from the pods, and you go and stick up for your gentleman. But here's the problem, and we could slide right into it if y'all have no objections. Cal, you got your own issues to deal with.
Yes,
okay?
he does.
You got your own issues. I'm just happy that the family is at least smiling and mama holding your hand, but you got enough issues to deal with. Dahlia, you want to start us off with Cal and Sarova?
I do, but can I say one quick thing? And this is specifically about Demola. I'll be
Go
real
on.
quick. Okay. Demola, he is not ready. Okay? I know he's not Freddie, because when he was speaking with Javin, he made sure to he put that seed in Javin's head, like, hey, bro, this is me. This is what I would do. I don't know about you, but if it were me, I would never marry a girl like that who did me dirty like that. If she's the type to be all wishy-washy, I would never. But that's just me. That's just me. Like, who says that? Why would you say something like that?
But he's
Especially
right.
when you were all sweet and
Yeah,
cool
he is
with
right.
Katisha.
Is he lying?
He ain't lying.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong, but also that was not appropriate.
Why not?
He's warning him.
I wish he would have said it to her, though. She
Yeah.
the one who changed her mind on you.
Right.
She the one who
Yes.
broke your word. But it ain't gonna look good for this 6'5" man to be talking all sideways to this, Pierre. Okay, it ain't gonna look good. So y'all give me 1 minute. Before we move over, we have another panelist. Okay, y'all ladies, Trey is here. Okay, Trey is here, ladies. Where your fans at? Trey is here.
Lord have mercy.
Not the fan.
You must stop the madness. Stop the madness.
Trey.
Trey came in just as I was trying to move stuff. So
Dahlia.
you got the final say with Katisha, Javin, Demola.
Final say, dang. Yeah. I was listening as I was concluding my workday. And I was like, okay, everybody pretty much hit the main points and everything. But Uh, pretty much everybody said what needed to be said. The only thing that it's not a pushback that just made me pause. The whole situation with Javin, Sophie talking to the ladies while he was out. I got to be totally honest. Everyone, including Megan and Kieran, I took everything at a grain of salt because I found the whole situation suspect. Everything, including what she said. Something didn't seem right to me. It didn't sit right. Not that, I'll put it to you this way. It's not that I didn't believe what she said didn't happen, but it felt like somebody was putting a little extra on what may have happened.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that rolls my suspicion that we really need to talk about is this conversation with Sophie. Because the thing that caught me, I was like, hold on, okay. No one's denying that you had a conversation with Sophie. I don't believe this whole thing when what got me with Megan when she said she was talking to his ladies all night. And when I found out, when they discovered that a whole bunch of people were there, a whole bunch of people from the past cast was there, whatever. I was like, no. He wasn't talking to them all night. Okay, somebody putting a little extra on something. Something ain't right. But when they started talking about Sophie, I said, okay. Because everyone, you went to this booth with this woman, whether the booth was working or not. You want to have a discussion whether the curtain was open or closed. Okay. Which that is important. Open, closed curtain. What's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that got me was when Jarvis said me and Sophie was arguing about something. I went,
yeah, they got me too. Lies.
What are y'all arguing about?
Right.
What are y'all arguing about? And he was very particular about that. They were arguing
about our last date.
Whose last date?
Right. Theirs.
What last date? No,
Like, why didn't we date more in the pods? Remember, Javin, that was his line. Use that on Anu. Use that on everybody.
No. Anu said that.
Yeah, I ain't jacking that. Anu said that. Yeah, I ain't jacking that. What was Sophie and Javon arguing about? And the thing I found funny, nobody else asked that question. Not Katisha, not Megan, or even Kieran. Now, here's the thing that JR was getting on this. I'm going to be a little more, he was trying to be PC, but I'm going to be a little more forceful to why Javin was on Kieran's head. I'm going to be a little more forceful with it. Let's keep it real here, okay? The reason why I was a little suspect on Megan's accounting of what happened, Kieran didn't back her up like that. Not really. He halfway did it. He wasn't full board. Yo, you right. That was crazy. No, if you notice, he was real. Yeah, I'll put it this. Kieran saw Javin talking to Sophie. He went, yeah, that looked bad. If you notice, whenever it turned to what happened, whenever it went to how long they were talking versus when they actually went in the booth, that's when Kieran got quiet. Almost to the point, did you actually see it? Or you just took going off of what she said, and now because you're her fiance, I gotta back her up. His whole demeanor the entire time felt like a man, I gotta back up my girl. I hope you understand. That was his. I'm here demeanor. So I don't get mine. Now what killed exactly. Now what killed me was what solidified me was when Javin started going off on Megan. The whole time Kieran stayed quiet. I'm like, hold on, bro.
Well, we could see in the edit. We could see in the edit it wasn't the whole time. We saw in the edit when she started kind of bucking forward, he did put his hand in front of her. I was like, Megan, and then we saw it cut to something. So we see there's some parts that he, was speaking up that I think they edited out.
I get you, L, but that's not enough. Let me tell you why it's not enough. The moment Javin started raising his voice and going at Megan, I would have stopped. I would have paused the conversation right then and there. Like, hold up,
Yeah.
whoa, this is what we're not gonna do. We can discuss this as human beings in a calm manner. But what you're not gonna do, bro, is yell at my fiance. And baby, I'm sorry, you need to chill out too.
Right.
Because you get in your feelings as well. But no, he just sat there. And it almost felt like he sat there because some of what Javin is saying, he couldn't deny it. He just like,
Right.
Now,
or
Javin, I'm not a fan of him now. I'm not a fan of him, but
or
it was suspect.
Kieran is sitting there watching how Megan's behaving.
That's all. Of course. I mean, yeah, but I would. Yeah, he's going to do that regardless. Any situation your partner is going to be in, you are observing them to find out. Okay, this is something I'm going to be with long term. Blah blah blah. Okay, because I put it this. It would concern me if I'm with my girl. Say me and my girl's in that same situation. We see another cast member maybe doing something that could be perceived as a little funny. How we perceive those events is going to be very important. This is what I was going to say earlier. There's only two things Java, he kind of said it on Culture's channel, that they don't, only two things out of this whole interview that I agreed with. I understood. Number one, people sometimes put 10 on to, you better be very specific about what you saw or who said what and who didn't say, because we can listen. I can see Elsa. Oh yeah, Elsa was just she was so and so. She was just chilling. Everybody was talking to everybody. Versus I say, nah, I saw Elsa over there. She was having a real long discussion with so and so. I just changed the whole narrative of the conversation. Okay, I just did. So the way and what caught me was when Megan was first telling the story to Katisha, it sounded really bad. Oh, he was talking to Nu, he was talking to the Moon Girl, he was talking to Sophie all night long, this and that and third. I went, boy, that sounds terrible. But then when we come and find out, wait, no, you was out with Kiri, all the boys, everybody was hanging out there. I think even Demola was there, apparently. Everybody was hanging out there. So I'm like, wait a minute. How could he spend hours with these people? Nah, somebody else would have seen that. And then on top of that, he said, okay, hold on. And what got me when even Megan backtracked on her statement when she said what she told Katisha, yeah, he was talking to them a long time. It looked kind of funny. Then he was talking to Sophie for a long time. They went in the booth, they closed the curtain, it was crazy. And then when Javin challenged her, it was like, hold on. I was with y'all most of the time. I was only talking to them about 15 minutes apiece. It's like, but you told Katisha, blah, 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 blah.
Semantics.
Yeah. Hey, semantics matter. I live in the real world. I live in the real world.
That is factual evidence that's important.
I live in the real world. You better give me all the semantics. What did you say exactly? Now, what did you say exactly? Now, what did you see? And somewhere you're gonna find the truth.
You ain't denied
it. He can't. Okay. That was his part. That was his part. Javin never denied it. He was just weird sickle on, hey, wait a minute. I wasn't with them all night long talking to them. We was in the group setting talking to them. And the thing with me and Sophie, we was arguing. We wasn't getting snubbly chummed up. And again, I go back to my immediate question would have been, hold on, wait a minute. Then what was y'all arguing about? No one ever asked that question.
Javin was Nate Dogg that night. I can't deny it. I'm a rider. You don't. Hey, I'm sorry. He was there. He did not deny going into the photo booth. Why am I going into a photo booth with anyone? Anyone?
That's true. Somebody needs some privacy.
That's close proximity.
It was suspect.
She can't sit. Okay, she can't sit. We already know she can't sit. So what are we going in the photo booth to have a discussion for?
But else
again, I agree.
You coming home with Sophie's scent on you if you in the photo booth with her. Why are we that close?
Well, according to Megan and other women's scents too.
Again, then why not ask that question? What were y'all talking about? Y'all so hooked up? What was y'all arguing about? What's really going on? Let's just keep it real. This whole thing was a setup situation for Katisha to have some type of excuse to run up out of there.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
No one really cares if Jarvin and Sophie really had something going on. They was looking for a way to get up out of Dodge, and she got one. Now she's out of there. She's a runner. She's a track star. She's been proving that. Okay, it is what it is.
You're acting like she has no reason to run, even without the photo booth. You're acting like she has no reason to run.
Right, because I was just about to say she has.
Yeah, she had a reason to run since the pause, and yet she ran her butt right up in the house.
She ran to him.
Exactly. Because she's
Well, okay,
insecure.
but if they were really serious about hashing this out, why is nobody talking to Sophie, Anu, or Yolanda? Because we saw all three of those women were flirting with Javin. He wasn't flirting with them like that. Sophie, we know for sure Sophie was. We know her dress was short because she over here talking about how she gonna flash some people if she try to sit down. She didn't have to say all of that. That was totally unnecessary. We know Anu was flirting with him, showing all 32 of her teeth. We know Yolanda was flirting with him, and everybody saw it.
So it's not you know, it's not his responsibility to remove himself from a woman who's flirting from him.
I'm not removing responsibility. I'm just saying this is not all on Javin. And why is Patrick of all people the only one that's coming to support Javin? Why are we talking to any of the other people who were there?
Because we gotta save it for the reunion. We gotta save it for the reunion.
And also, also Patrick's on speed dial. Maybe they were.
Megan got heat for Sophie. That's why, and I think
that's exactly it. That's exactly what I was going to say to you.
Even cares. She just don't like Sophie. And honestly, Megan. Well, we'll get to her in a bit, but yeah, okay.
Megan, but JR, what were you saying?
Listen, I agree with what Dahlia said. That was going to be my point. You have to realize that there was heat between Megan and Sophie when they're both competing for Kieran. Anyway, right?
Yeah.
So there's a reason, there's a motive for Megan to want to disrupt any connection going forward, that involves Sophie interacting with someone's partner. And then the thing is, we later learned that Javon and Megan had a connection too in the pods, and it was only right up until the end when
they did.
They both decided to go with their respective partners.
They didn't show that.
Everyone dates three people going down to the end. Javin has come out to say it was Megan and Katisha,
and Katisha confirmed it. And Tisha
confirmed it that they were the. I don't know why he doesn't mention who the third person is.
Right,
he was waiting till the end, but they have both come out to say it. So Megan has it twofold. Is she trying to throw salt on Javin because he chose Katisha, or is she trying to throw it at Sophie because she was also one of Kieran's possibilities?
Right.
So it's a lot of faces, but I wouldn't say she trying to throw at Javin, because that's just going to free him up to be able to go to Sophie. Why would I do that?
Sabotage the current relationship.
I'm sorry.
Have a salty nature.
And sabotage the relationship between him and Katisha. Because Katisha's apparently her homegirl, right? They're buddies.
Right.
So if it frees up Javin, at least he's not with Katisha.
Yeah, you can do all the sabotaging you want to. I mean, you can't prevent a man to talk to a woman. I mean, if he want to do it, if they're engaged, if Kieran want to go a step outside of his engagement and talk to Sophie, he'll do it. There's nothing that she can do to try to prevent that. A man is going to, if he's a man like that, he's going to find a way to talk to her, period. She's not going to be able to stop that. Us as women need to stop doing things like that to try to sabotage and think a man, I'm trying to prevent him to not talk to her. Honey, you're delusional.
And also, that was the whole point of allowing the people that weren't chosen to come and mingle with the couples that have been chosen. That was the whole point. It's adds a little bit of mess to the situation, makes things a bit more complicated.
Right.
Because obviously, if you're seeing these people for the first time, and you had connections with them, then you may want to have a discussion about why it didn't work out, or what attracted you to that person, or why you're with the person you're with now. So many different things. But to be honest, if they wanted to avoid the situation, you keep the single ones away from the couples once the decisions have been made.
Yeah, they do that for TV, and I'm all for the drama because if the way Kieran was looking at Meg, if Meg didn't look how she looked, oh, he would be talking to Sophie. Trust that, because he kept.
Or if Meg didn't look like she would snatch him by that jacket.
Yes, baby. Kieran was looking at her.
Let's be honest. Wow. If Sophie would have opened up a little more in the pies, there would have been a match. Period.
Yes.
Yeah.
Period. Agreed.
Right? Exactly.
So
now
Sophie's going to be a threat to Megan regardless.
Right.
Right. But where Kieran, I would give him credit, even though he did compliment Sophie, he said, "Oh, she's hot," or something like that, right? He didn't make an attempt to go and converse with her.
Yeah.
Because I'll give him credit for that.
Yes.
It seems like from what we saw, he didn't have a conversation with her like that.
Right.
He just watched her from across the room.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Yes.
It was perfect. I have no notes for him. He told Megan in advance where he was gonna go, what he was gonna say. Complimented Sophie, said, "Hey, listen, I don't think I was wrong to give her a gift. I was wrong for how I did it. My bad. My bad. I'm gonna go ahead and head on back to Megan. You have a good day. We good? We good? Cool." And then he kept it pushing. He didn't linger.
Right.
Like that's exactly what you're supposed to do.
Oh
yeah. I love him.
What's under her dress either.
Listen, Kieran is very calculated. I've been noticing that he's very
player. He's a player
with how he moves.
Yeah, he's a good-looking guy. Yeah, he's
not
real lightly.
He's not stupid. Okay?
He's media trained.
That's why I said it was so interesting of how he would the whole Javin and Megan between Javin and Megan. I expected that. How Kieran was reacting was what I was interested in, because I'm like, his reaction is very interesting during this whole situation. Nah, it's suspect on this whole thing. Everybody's suspect because Elsa, you made a point early on. The Jonas is on Javian to not talk to these other women, but come on, this is TV. We know what this is for.
Exactly.
But I find it very interesting. And that's on him. But I still find it very interesting that we still want to ask him all these questions. I got questions for Anu. I got questions for what's the other black girl name? I keep getting her name.
Yolanda.
That didn't make it. Yeah, she didn't make it.
I got questions because, like Dahlia said, they were flirting with him, back with him, actively, openly. I'm like, this is strange. What's going on?
Come on
here?
now, Trey.
Yeah, that doesn't look good either on their part.
Let me speak up. Let me speak up for Yolanda. Yolanda asked him, "Are you happy?" He drinks. Yes. Are you, how are things going? Are you, ready to get married? He drinks. Now, there's a whole lot. That ain't a whole lot of flirting, but it is flirtatious. But the man, when you do that, and you ain't answering, you answer.
Right.
Come on now.
I'll be honest with you. Listen, El, you're right. But I'll be honest with you. I've been in that situation before with a potential girl I almost talked to, and she come up to me like, "Hey, are you happy?" No, I know what that means. I know what that means. I know what that means.
So why can't he say yes?
No. He should have said yes. Yes or no. Yeah, it doesn't even matter. My point is why she asking the question.
Isn't that a standard question? You all just met each other. You just went on holiday. You just moved in. Yeah, all of these things have happened. You never met before the reveal. So it is a legitimate question.
It could be. It could have been genuine, coming from a genuine place, not necessarily that she was trying to insinuate like she's asking questions because she wants to be with him. I didn't get that from my interaction with her. Now maybe she was flirting.
Elsa, I have never asked a woman that I didn't want to smash again, was she happy? I have said, I am happy for you. Because especially I'm genuinely happy for her, she's moving on. I got some instances that have gotten married. And I'm happy for them. I was like, I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. And I was genuinely happy. Now, if I asked them, are you happy? Oh, no, I'm trying to slide back in. Nah. I'm trying
I
to
don't
slide
think
back
everybody
But
that
when
asks
you
that
shut it
question.
down, you can't go nowhere.
It's a seed. All I'm saying, it's a seed planted. You leave a door open.
Right.
That's what you do. Now, it's up to them to walk through it. I'm pulling back the curtain. This is player games. Hey, it is what it is. You pull back the curtain. All you do is provide them the opportunity to walk through the door. You ain't got to hold their
Javin
hand.
said there is no curtain, Trey.
Right. He said it wasn't no curtain at all.
So
they do have photo booths like that don't have curtains.
Yes, they are photo booths with that. And and if y'all want to go to Reddit, there's a whole subreddit where they did go back to that GAY bar. That is exactly the name of the bar. And they found that, they took pictures they saw pictures on their site from a year ago that showed there was a curtain present. Now, it may not have been one present, that night if we were filming at that bar because, the camera wants to catch everything. But they were there after, the cameras were over. So we shall see what the reunion will say about this. My only thing with this whole thing, I ain't putting too much heat, any more heat on Javin. My heat is on Katisha. The lack of apology for Demola, girl, that was a little savage.
That was crazy.
Yeah,
that was a little savage. You want so much not to be a villain. You have given yourself the villain crown of this season. I'm sorry, Javin is a close second, but he ain't never lied. She just accepted the foolishness.
I don't think she really cared that much. I think the only reason why she even doubled back to Demola was because she was getting heat from the rest of the cast about it. If they never said anything, I don't think she would have said two or more about him. I really don't. I don't think she really liked him like that. It's very clear she had no sexual attraction to him whatsoever.
Then why walk into the women's lounge, say Demola is my man? It's on camera.
Because she's wishy-washy.
And he's saying all the things. He's literally saying all the things you're supposed to do. Yeah. And honestly, yes, this is the man you're supposed to. He's showing you attention. He's showing you intention. Like, come on.
Right.
Yes, this is what you choose. But she always was feeling Javian in the pods, period, for some odd reason.
Now she's feeling that egg on her face. Okay. So we have spent almost an hour on this couple. This is, please make sure y'all have hit that like button. Okay, make sure you're subscribed to both of our channels. Life is Reality is also simulcasting this on his channel as well. We're gonna move on to the next one. Okay, we were gonna say who was in their business. Okay, I was going to slide on over there. Cal and Sarova. Cal felt like he had to speak up for Demola and get Katisha to, behave, in a particular, explain yourself, like she had the principal's office and he's the headmaster. I'm sorry, Cal, mind your own business. You got to get over the meeting of the family. And I have to say, camera crew, y'all did y'all thing with Sarova's family. Because the look her mama and sister, when they turned their head at the same time to look at Sarova and say, is this the peasant that you have brought before us? Exactly. I was like, y'all no drama.
Yes.
Y'all no drama. Cal, I know your heart was racing. You were about to fall over. Your brother's words were probably in your mind. But I'm hoping that you have, kind of gotten over this hump, because it's real hard meeting the family. We know it's real hard trying to impress a family that you're forced to impress, and one that has been knocking on the door of your fiance's phone every day about you. So, so I would like my panelists, I'm going to start, since Trey came in last, we're going to start with him. I like my panelists to talk about, Cal, Sarova. You know why Cal prefers blondes. Okay. We did not roast him here on this channel for his preference, because we figured mama and grandma are blondes. Okay. And his brother, though, roasted him. Okay. His brother roasted him right well and good, as siblings should. So Trey, set us off with Cal and Sarova for episodes 5 through 8.
That's what I wanted to talk about more or less, is Cal's interaction with his brother. because his brother pretty much said it straight. Said Cal will struggle to put Sarova first. So basically, he's calling his brother selfish. He's as a selfish nature. I found that interesting to say. I said, wow, okay, okay. And it kind of tracks with a few things that Cal has done and said a little bit. I'm like, okay. But they didn't really dig too much into it. They just left that little bond right there. That something might come up later on. So we have to keep an eye on that. The meeting with Sarova's family, that was, I don't know, maybe I was expecting more explosions, but enough did happen. Because when they came in there, I found it interesting that Sarova has never brought anyone to meet her family. Anyone. I'm like, okay. This is I don't know if this is good or bad. I'm like, wait a minute, how old is Sarova again? How old is Sarova? Does anybody know real quick? Hold on, let me check. She's 29.
Oh, 29. Yeah, she's 20. I think she's 20. Yeah.
I had to check my notes right quick. She's 29. And she's never introduced anyone to her parents before. I mean, it's possible, but I just found out a little, okay, this is interesting.
No, it's not suspicious, Trey, because remember, she's a young Indian girl, and the only man she's dated has probably been who the family has presented to her. So
I get it.
She doesn't have to bring
That's
anyone
why I'm
home.
not so. That's why I'm not so on it. It was just interesting that she was the one that purposely said that. So it was in her mind. Oh my God, I've never brought a boy home to my mom before. So in her head, okay, this is a big thing. During the actual meeting, yeah, I have wrote down like, yo, yeah. So Reverend Mama was not having it. She's just like the way she was coming across, she wasn't having it. And I have to say, I don't think Kyle represented himself the greatest.
No.
After that meeting, he fell apart. He completely fell apart. I would give this advice to anyone, especially as a man. Yes, their parents may not like you off of principle because they don't know you. It's just a principle thing, he's someone you bring home, we never met him, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Just off principle, they may not like you, but at least when you walk up in there, have some confidence about yourself and some belief and confidence within yourself. That goes a long way.
Yeah.
Kyle just fell apart and was struggling to answer simple questions. It wasn't even hard questions. I'm like, bro, like, come on. He was falling apart so bad, it didn't turn around until Sarova cut in and saved him. That's when the conversation finally turned around, and the mom was like, oh, okay. The sister was like, okay, you know what? We accept you, blah, 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 blah. By himself, he was not selling himself well. They pretty much really didn't have any type of outline of a plan about how their relationship was going to go, where they're going to live, this and that third. It was just all over the place. He was just like, I just like her a lot. But what do you like about her?
Right.
He couldn't even answer that. He couldn't even answer that. I'm like, oh, wow, bro. What's really going on here now? What's really going on? Because that was the easy question. What do you like about my daughter? He barely had nothing. Yeah. We're just so similar.
So, and the sister's looking like, I'm next, sister. And this is what you're doing to mama. I'm next. Up to date. And this is what you are presenting to the family. And I gonna have to bear the brunt of it after. Trey, are you can I move to another panel? Thank you, Trey. Dahlia, I know you're in the car, you're more mobile than us. Do you want to share your thoughts on them?
Yeah. Cal really crashed and burned, and I was reading some other comments, and people were saying that particular interaction was heavily edited, so it's not really clear, like how much of a catastrophe that meeting actually was. So it could be that they cut it in a way to make Cal look terrible. Who knows? But it wouldn't have mattered anyways because Cal and Sorover, I think, are a terrible match, and it has nothing to do with his preference for blondes or them being Pakistani and Indian, and everything to do with just them as people. Um, I thought at first that Cal, he came across as like a Freddie 2.0, like real sweet, not shy, but like kind of reserved kind of guy. And I thought, oh well, maybe they might match up. But when I think back about their conversations, I don't remember anything. Like I remember him talking about his brothers. I don't remember anything he shared about himself really. I know that Sorover, she talked about being really family centered, and like they both cared about their family, but it was. I think Cal struggled to say what he liked about the daughter because, or about Sorover because what is there to like? Like, what did you guys actually discuss? I don't think that they really did. Honestly, I think Sorover is using Cal as like a way to establish or at least explore independence because when she interjected, she talked about how, hey, I'm my own person and I really want to be able to do my own thing and make my own choices. And it's like that's cute and all. You don't start with a husband though. That's not how you start. You know what I mean? Like decide that you want to wear different makeup. You want to part your hair differently than how your mama wants you to. You want to go you want to go move to a new city. You don't start with a husband, though, girl. What are you talking about? And then and then Cal didn't even bother to bring anything. Like he did no research. You don't bring no flowers. You didn't bring any traditional Indian foods or something. I don't know. He didn't wear the outfit that he had on from the engagement. That would have been a good touch for him. He didn't he just there was no effort made on his part to say, hey, listen, I know that we're not of the same culture, but I see you, I respect your culture. He didn't really honor, like that's a big deal for Indian people. They're very prideful about their culture. He did none of that. And then on top of that, the most basic question on earth, why do you like my daughter? You crash and burn on that part? Like, come on, bro. And I think his brother was right. I don't think his brother was roasting him. I think he was just giving a very honest assessment. I don't think Cal is ready to marry anybody, but specifically Sorover. I think that she would be one of the worst picks for him because she would try and he would let her, but I don't think he would really be giving it his all like that. And I think that yeah, I don't even think they're gonna make it to the wedding. By the way, this is my last thing. Sorover's mother, beautiful. She looks very good. She looked really good. Like she if you told me she was an older sister, I would believe you. Yeah.
She should be Love is Blind Brazil season 5 is coming up, y'all. We will be covering it here as well as Francais. And Love is Blind Brazil season 5 deals with the 50 and over dating. Sorova Mama could be on that Love is Blind version if they decide to do 50 and over in the UK. Totally beautiful woman. I agree with you. Natasha, you want to chime in on Cal and Sorova?
Yeah, I'm trying to like them as a couple, but I think Cal is in denial. He knows that this is not his type. He knows it. I think he's just being really nice to her and feeding her what she wants to hear. And unfortunately, that's going to backfire because they're not going to get married in the end if something, happens before they, make it to the altar. But yeah, I don't. It's something about Cal. I can't spot what it is that I don't like about him, but I don't like him. I think Sorova is very naive. I think she needs to date more. I did read where she says she's done a lot of online dating, and being fixed up by her family and friends with men, and that has not worked. But this is not going to work either. So I don't think this was not the avenue for her. She needs to not do the online dating or go by recommendations of her family, but go out there and date, go to places where there are single, like-minded people like her. But this is not it. I think she needs to date more because she's really naive. She's not ready to get married either. and Cal is definitely not the one for her. Cal is definitely in denial. He knows he does not like her. You can even tell, you know, and I look at body language when they kiss, all of that. I mean, yeah, there's no connection there. It's not. Mm-mm.
So life is reality. JR, did Sarova prep Cal, or did Cal forget everything she tried to prep him on? What happened? I know you have met some parents in your lifetime. Have you fumbled it this much over somebody you wanted to marry?
No, not me personally, no. But I think there are a couple of things that are happening with Sarova and Cal, which are just bubbling underneath the surface, haven't risen to the forefront yet. I know, like, obviously, he comes from a mixed background, Pakistani background. We spoke about the issue that Pakistan and India have. They're on the same, you know, they have a border, but they're at war and things like that, right? But I don't think it's that deep. I think what it is Cal does have a type that he's used to dating, not basically because his mum and his grandma look a certain way. No, it's in his environment. The type of ladies that he's experienced up where he lives, there's more certain looking type ladies than there are of others. And then so it's really about opportunity and availability, right? But in that regard, in my opinion. I do think that Sarova she's trying to establish her independence. She's trying to also not go a traditional route.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's trying to not rebel, but say, listen, I'm a modern lady growing up in this culture. So I have the freedom of choice to date and marry who I want, instead of an arranged situation or a situation that my family necessarily play a major part in picking my partner for me. She wants to do it herself.
Yeah.
Now, going on this show gives her the autonomy to be able to do that. But, you know, behind the screen, you don't know who's standing there. And when that screen came back, I think she is pleasantly surprised. She did also say that in her previous dating experience, she only dates handsome or pretty Indian guys. So she usually attracts good-looking men, in her opinion. But I don't see that same energy from Cal. I think he's trying to be nice, trying to give it a try, but the attraction isn't there. I think he's trying to, you know, work on it, which to some degree I commend him for. Give it a try. Nothing major has happened yet, but I think the moment things start to, you know, their arguments, when they start to happen, or disagreements over where they're going to live, and let's face it, where he's from it's not a place where most people want to move to. I'll tell you that now. I can't think of any reason to want to move to Wigan, to be honest. If you're born there and you live there, I think you're trying to get out and go to a bigger city where there's more opportunities career-wise and financially. So I don't see her uprooting from where she lives, especially, you know, the education she has and the background she has, the family maybe more well-off. So moving to where he lives, that's going to be a bit difficult. Maybe he's looking for a way out of Wigan as well. So that's where she comes in. Like, he might move to where she is. But until they really have disagreements and or conversations that may be difficult, that's where I'll be able to tell where their connection really is. Because Cal seems to be doing all the fluff. And I'm not saying he's not genuine, but we can all see that Sarova is not who he was really expecting to be behind that screen. If it was a Sophie, then I think there'll be more trust. Or a Bada.
Definitely.
Right. But not Sarova.
So we're all saying it seemed like that, you know, even with that awful haircut, Dahlia, okay? Even with that awful haircut, Cal is the one pretending to really be all in. Because unfortunately his barber ain't all in. And he has heard y'all, okay? He has heard y'all talking about his haircut, and he put it on TikTok about his haircut, so y'all can lay off of him. Okay?
Well, listen, it's his fault. He shouldn't have cut his own hair in the dark.
Exactly.
With a knife, with a butter knife. You know, he did that to himself.
He has heard you. He has heard all of you and what y'all are saying about his haircut. Okay. So um I'm glad. That's why I always love having Life is Reality here. He is our UK representation. He's our diplomat, okay? He is our ambassador from the UK. So he can let us know exactly what Wiggins is about. That Cal opportunity to date out, someone else ain't that much, but at least we know his grandparents been married for 60 something years. Mom and dad didn't work out. And what I want to know more about Cal is, was going to see his dad in Dubai a way for him to tap into that side of himself and his culture? I wondered, I don't know if it is, Dahlia. You could shake your head, but I wonder if it was also that, because I'm not sure of the Pakistani representation in Wiggins. Would he be able to know that much? Or did he get that suit jacket in Dubai? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
but you're shaking your head, Dahlia.
Because if you were gonna try and like really connect with your daddy's culture, why would you go to Dubai of all places? Those are
Because
not
that's where
that's
daddy
Arab
is.
culture.
Daddy's
I know, but
there.
that's Arab culture.
And there's a lot of Pakistani people there.
There are. You find a lot of different nationalities in Dubai. But the thing is, the dad may not have been comfortable coming back to the UK. Maybe they're estranged. She's estranged from the Cal's mum and the family and stuff, and he's built a new life over there.
Yeah.
But you know, like I said, like we can all see Cal may be a cool dude, a nice guy, or whatever. But I think how he lets her down if he's going to, and how they handle the disagreements. That's really where we're going to see the connection. I kind of think that Sarova will be someone that's a bit more pushy, and Cal is a bit more reserved. So that's what I mean when when the arguments happen. How forceful is she going to be, and what does he do and react? Does he shut down completely? Does he walk away? Does he snap? So that's going to be telling for their connection.
Well, let's take a detour from the usual couples to one connection that dissolved before it even left the pods, but they came face to face with each other at the mixer. Okay. And she finally sang for him, y'all. She finally sang for him. His do-rag did not stop her from singing for him. Okay? So somebody in the panel said they wanted to touch on Patrick and Anu. Who was it?
I thought it was Dahlia. Wasn't it you, Dahlia?
I thought it was Dahlia too. I thought you said you wanted to touch on Patrick and Anu, and her getting at him. Well, I'll touch on it. I'll start it off. Anu, you're wrong for that, for singing for the man finally when he didn't ask for it. But Patrick, I saw you rubbing your tongue against your teeth. You were 95 degrees hot, and it had nothing to do with the do-rag. She was right. Leave the do-rag in the car, okay? Leave it in your pocket or in the car. It did not go with your outfit. You did not come in there giving the, Sophie strut strong, okay? Sophie had the strut strong that night with Anu and Yolanda. Patrick, come on now. It was a dig. Glad to finally hear you sing. It was a dig. Now, Anu, I don't think he completely robbed you of the whole experience, but I understand why. Because Patrick's out here saying that he really didn't have a connection or romantic feeling towards her for a while in the pods. So if you had said that earlier, Clock, she might have focused on someone else. But Anu, you looked good. I think it was a little, 10 on 20, just a tad bit. But you were right to tell him that do-rag did not match. Now, who would like to tap in?
I guess I'll say something.
Hold on. Okay. Go ahead, Dahlia, and then I'll have Trey.
Okay. So, first of all, it's not true that if Patrick had said earlier that he wasn't attracted to her, which isn't true, by the way, that she would move on, because she was very clear that she said that he's the only spiritual person in the five, and that was obviously very important to her. That's why she was attracted to him in the first place. And he was very clear that he was attracted to her. He liked her energy. He liked her vibe. He told the guys multiple times about that. So this idea that neither one of them is attracted to each other is a load of crap. So either you were lying then or you're lying now. But you are lying. So stop that. That's number one. Number two, Anu made an ass of herself. She totally lost her cool. She actually made Patrick look better than she did, just by her doing all of that low vibration. I don't even like that term. Real low vibration. She was real low vibrational. Talk about that man's do-rag. He did look stupid. Did she need to mention that though? No. The outfit spoke for itself. I knew didn't need to say anything. She looked good, and she ruined it by her antics. Maybe she probably would have caught her man at that mixer if she had just kept her composure. But she couldn't do that. So we are where we are right now. And she came in like 38 hot, and then it was just like that was so unnecessary. I understand that you didn't like how he was acting towards you in the past, and that's fair. He did kinda blindside you. But I mean that's the nature of the show. I mean he's free to say no. And you ought to be thanking him, because she should have dropped him immediately on day one, when he's telling you that, yeah, my family is Christian, but I'm spiritual. Right. You guys are not even operating on the same software system. So what are we talking about right now? This is stupid. You wasted your time, and you want to be upset with him because he actually did what he was supposed to do, which is listen to his freaking gut. Ma'am, you were supposed to do that. That's a woman's superpower. So, I'm just saying. I'm done. I'm gonna land my plane right here.
That's okay, Dolly. I was just saying it's not his gut, it's his spleen. Point of order.
It's right in his gut somewhere.
It's close to it.
You know, thank you, Dahlia, for hitting the nail on the head with that beautiful flight you was doing. You was in the sky, girl. You was in the sky. You know, yeah, Anu. I like Anu, but Anu. You know what? I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say it. Oh, Anu feels like Katisha to me. I was getting the same vibes from her that Katisha was giving from me when she was every time she talked to Jock. Like something's going on with your picker and it's off. It's off. Like the flash, it was put right in front of your face and you didn't see them. So I can't feel bad for you. And the way listen, I get it. She wanted to go off on him, and you know what I'm saying. We all knew it was coming, but if it just felt hollow to me, because the whole time I'm thinking, I'm like, Anu, baby, he left you, like he left you, like, and so why are you so bothered that he decided to leave you? You should be thankful right now. But you bothered, which leads me to my next point about this do-rag thing. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I agree. I don't know why you got this do-rag. I don't get it. Like, if I was your homeboy, I probably told you, nah, bro, you need to take that off. I don't know what you're doing. But here's my point where I bring it up. Her going off with this do-rag is bull crap. Let me tell you why it's bull crap. If things would have worked out and they would have ended up together, they would have had that. Oh, let me reset. If things would have worked out and they would have went to this mixer together and he had that do-rag on, I can almost guarantee you wouldn't hear a thing from her. She's probably screaming out, "Oh, my man, my man, my man."
You look the cutest thing in a do-rag. Cutest thing in a do-rag. Now, let me ask you, Life is Reality. Is a do-rag an accessory?
Not just do-rag.
Right. Is a do-rag an accessory in the UK, JR?
Yes, it is. But It's what you go to sleep in, and when you're about to leave the house, you take it off.
Right.
Or sometimes what people do is, because there's a lot of people that have long hair, like braids, cane rolls, things like that. What people do is they'll wear a hat over it because it looks fashionable. But to just rock the do-rag, I thought it was very lazy. It's just like when you see ladies come out with just a bonnet and with a bonnet on, and they're going out about their daily. Man, take it off, leave it at home. Like you do that stuff at home. Anyway, I think Patrick is just awkward. And Anu, she wanted her lick back for not being chosen. She may have felt quite embarrassed at the fact that she wasn't chosen in the pods and didn't manage to go on the getaway and enjoy the experiment a bit longer. But he did actually save her a lot of time and effort and embarrassment, further embarrassment. He just wasn't feeling her, and someone had to say it. I get the impression she would have just gone along with it, regardless of how their connection was. But at least he had the ability and the common sense to say, look, I don't think this is going to work. And part of that may be down to the connection with Anu. Part of that may also be because he knows he's awkward and probably be difficult to deal with too. So at the end of the day, I wasn't surprised at how she reacted when they met at their mixer. But I think she added too much. It was too petty. Didn't need to be done. You had a connection in the pods for a reason, so there was some connection there, but it wasn't enough to go over the finish line. And in this situation, there's a commitment. There's, guys gonna get down on one knee, especially if El Cid's watching. Better get down on one knee and propose the right way. And Patrick didn't feel that there was enough of a connection to go that far. So. Yeah, I get that Anu wanted some extra time. Obviously, some people do come on the show to boost their social media. She's a singer. She does her little TikToks and things like that as well. So maybe that's an angle that she probably missed out on as well. But I think he did her a favor. He is too awkward. He wasn't what she wasn't what he was looking for. And this was before the screen even got peeled back. So we can't even say that he looked at her and discriminated. He just didn't get the vibe from the personality, and that's fair enough. In the experiment, you win some and you're going to lose some, right? Some experiments work, some don't.
Okay, round us off, Tasha.
Yeah, I agree with all of you all. I do think that Patrick was attracted to her, or within the pods. I think something clicked where I don't know if it was her or him. Something clicked where it just changed, and I think he mentioned it. And it could have been when he asked about maybe something about her mom, if her mom would agree, would accept him. And I guess I'm saying with the spleen and all of that, his spirituality, whatever his spirituality is. And I think it was that question where it just changed for them. But he definitely was attracted to her. But like, some of the other panelists said, specifically Dahlia, they were not going to be on the same page spiritually. I mean, you can. I'm not saying that people can't come together that are different in their spirituality. I've seen it. I've seen Christians with Buddhists, and Catholics with Christians. I've seen relationships, so I know it can work. But I think it was just too far-fetched with what he believes in and what she believes in, that it was not going to work. And I do believe she was just really hurt. I don't think that was the setting, the time, or the place to have done that. They should have done that in private. with a lot of people around. I think that just gave her more fuel to kind of like go off on him. And, I just didn't think that was the right thing to do. But I can understand where it was coming from. It was because she was really hurt and she really liked him. And she was willing to accept his spleen spirituality and his rectum, whatever she called it, spleen rectum or something. I was like, oh, okay, she's adding more stuff to this. But yeah, I think she was willing to accept him. But yeah, it's unfortunate the way it ended. I hate that she ended it like that, like the typical mad, angry Black woman is the way she ended it that way, and I didn't like that at all. So yeah.
Thank you, panelists. Let's go on. We like spice around here, so let's go on to the next spicy, couple. We'll do the other ones. The next spicy couple didn't want any spice in the mince. Okay, it is rice, broccoli, and mince. No onions. Okay, no onions. A slice of cake is 600 calories. If you ladies out there are wondering, okay, you can't have chocolates. You can't have none of that sweet stuff because he needs to be on a strict diet because he's into physical fitness and he's a trainer within the military. So, hey, you can't have nothing but what we need right now. You don't just buy groceries just because, and there's no seasoning in the mince. Who would like to talk about Billy and Ashley and why in the heck are we jumping into a lock for the Loch Ness Monster to come gobble us up? I think Billy was trying to get rid of her, but that's just me. Y'all, I know I'm just putting 10 on 20. I know that was not the area with locks. I know I'm just putting 10 on 20 on this. Okay. Why am I jumping in freezing temperatures, doing a cold plunge with this man that I don't even know if I'm going to marry? Who'd like to jump in this one first?
I'll jump in real quick on them.
Okay,
my
Tasha.
thing of it is with Ashley and Billy. I mean, in reading Ashley's background, she also was, I think, in the service as well, if I'm not mistaken. So they both have that in common, but I think his has taken him to another level because they're having issues about food and she can't eat certain sweets and all this. Yeah, that's throwing me off. But what really is throwing me off is that his excuse, and his dad even said it, is her job. And I don't know how many times that she can tell Billy, I am ready for the next level. I am ready to get married and settle down. My job, it is what it is. I'm willing to not do my job and find something else to do. Now, she has told him that several times. What I'm not understanding, that it's not registering with him, which is making me think that it's really not her job. It's something else. I don't think it has anything to do with her job, because if he was in love with her, he would make it work. And she's already said she's willing to compromise. Billy does not have a compromising spirit at all. That's what I'm gathering from him. He wants her to make every concession, every sacrifice, but I don't see him proposing any sacrifices that he's going to make, because it takes two in a relationship. And I don't see him doing any of that. So I definitely think that he's going to keep riding that wave until the altar and say that it's her job, when it's really not her job. It's something else.
Who's on next?
I'll go up. I definitely see Billy being very rigid, and I think that can lead to controlling or coercive behavior. That whole cake situation, boy, that was an eye-opener, because she looks like she's in relatively good shape, good health. I know you can't just look at someone and see how healthy they are. That's not what I'm saying. But I mean, everything in moderation, right? Even fitness models and bodybuilders have cheat days where they'll just have snacks and things that they wouldn't ordinarily eat. I think his concern was her glee, like the amount of happiness that was there when she saw those cakes. She's like, yeah, now this is my idea of heaven. He was like, huh? Yo, that's some strong sentiments over some cake. Listen, I've got to protect my body, so I eat broccoli and chicken and this and the other. Billy, you eat what you need to eat. You're the one that needs to be disciplined and regimented for what your role is, right? You cannot police what she eats. You can say, I eat clean, and if this appeals to you, we can do this together as part of our lifestyle, the lifestyle choices we have. But ultimately, if she's someone that wants to have a cup of tea and some cake every now and again, then there's nothing wrong with that. So I think he completely blew it out of proportion. The thing that surprised me the most is actually when they sat down together and he said he was 50-50 about their connection. And man, I could see that really shocked her, right? Because where did we see anything in their connection so far that would lead it to a 50-50 situation? He completely seemed all in, and she definitely all in. So how did it deteriorate to 50-50, Billy? And that, to me, could be an excuse of her job. He did say he had a prior experience of dating someone in that field before. Also, there may be time away from home if she's away 2 or 3 days a week or whatever. She's not, but so is he. He's away as well. He's on a military base, whether it's local or not. He's still got a job to do where he's not working from home. So I don't understand how she can really compromise with that, because if you're working in the air industry like that, then you don't really have much flexibility. Like, you're on for a few days and off for a few days. That's pretty much fair. That's even, right? Maybe you can try and match your schedule so when you're both home together, then you get some quality time, and then you both go off to work for 3 or 4 days or whatever. But yeah, like, I think the thing that made my ears stand up is Billy's ability to just quickly switch, to change the mood so quickly and sap the energy from her about the cakes. Wanted to take away the joy that she felt when they're sitting there romantic by the lock. Bam, just burst her bubble again. She was really taken aback by that, and he didn't seem to want to console her either. He just felt like he was laying his cards on the table, and it's unfortunate, but I'm 50-50. How does it get back to 100% then, Billy? Like, you need to outline what it's going to take to get you back there. And because she clearly doesn't know. She clearly was blindsided in that moment. So if this connection is going to survive, I think Billy needs to overcome the level of feeling he has if she makes choices that he wouldn't necessarily make himself. As long as it's not anything egregious to their relationship. But if it's lifestyle, she's not a PT army type person. Her lifestyle has been different. So give it the time for you to kind of mix and blend. And I don't know if it's going to be a yes or no, but I'm leaning against it potentially being a yes for them. But I do have reservations that would lead me to believe it could easily be a no too. But I'm slightly leaning towards a yes.
Well, it can't have cake at the wedding, okay? We cannot have cake.
No, it's 600 calories. 600 calories per slice in them wedding cakes.
You can't feed him the wedding cake either, okay? It's not around the holidays.
No,
you cannot feed him the wedding cake.
We're not feeding each other cake. We're going to feed each other carrots.
There you go. Carrots.
Oh,
maybe carrot cake. Can we compromise carrot cake?
No, that ain't even good.
Dahlia, what do you got to say?
Yeah, this couple is interesting because I actually thought coming out of the pods they were the strongest match because I felt like their temperaments were really complementing each other, and they had their lifestyles take away their jobs, but the actual lifestyles I thought were pretty comparable, sounded like they had similar values, and I thought that they would. And then on top of that, they're, from what I can tell at least, they're genuinely attracted to each other. So I thought, oh, okay, this will be the one that actually does make it, and they're gonna stick together. But then their whole thing with the grocery store was bizarre to me, and it wasn't because he was so rigid with his food. I actually don't care about that. I don't know if he has an eating disorder or not. It makes sense to me with his job that he would be very particular. And some people are really, they don't really care about food like that. Like they will legit just eat the same thing every day, and it's not a problem. My brother is like that. Well, I mean, he's autistic, but he's routine based. So he has the same thing every day, and he's fine, right? As long as you don't mess with his food, he's good. So maybe Billy is that kind of person. What I had an issue with is the fact that he felt the need to make commentary about what she's eating as though it would affect him, and I thought that was bizarre because it felt like their boundaries are like bleeding into each other, and then she took that to heart, and it I don't know. I think she thought maybe he's forcing her to eat like him, and it's just like you don't have to. Neither one of y'all literally has to change anything. You can just put your stuff in a different cabinet, and then it's out of sight, out of mind, right? Like unless he's insinuating that he has some sort of an eating disorder, because there are binge eaters like that who, if it's in the house and they're triggered, they're gonna stuff their mouth until they're like in pain. So I don't know if that's his deal, but I didn't know why this needed to be a thing. And then this whole job situation, Ashley said from jump, before she even met Billy, she knew that her job was going to be an issue, and she was already prepared. She told him multiple times in the pods even, "Hey, I'm gonna make the switch to ground crew because I want to make sure that I have enough time for my person. I know that my job situation is really not suitable for a married woman's purpose. Me as a single person, not suitable as a married woman. Fine, perfect." The fact that he's really giving grief about this when he already said, um, he said it would be like a few months. You're comparing a few months to decades of married life. That is weird to me. Especially when I don't know, I think maybe JR is when he brought this up, but um, his situation, his job situation, is far less flexible than hers ever could be. You're in the military. He even said it would take 6 months just for his request to go through to change command. Like, what are we talking about right now? Like the level of inflexibility that he has is concerning to me because it speaks to both selfishness and self-absorbedness that I don't think Ashley has. And it does seem like she's making all the concessions here, which really isn't fair to her. It doesn't seem like he has any ability to be creative, or he has any endurance when it comes to this sort of thing. Meanwhile, since he's in the military, you have people who they would get married and then they would have to deploy the next day. And for like the first 2 years of married life, they just never saw each other. They over here writing, Dear John letters and stuff. And you over here complaining because you have a long commute. In UK terms, a long commute, that could be 30 minutes for all we know. You guys, y'all talk about distance. It's nothing compared to U.S. terms. So when I hear Europeans talk about about time, that will always get a giggle out of me. I'm in Texas, honey. Like it is nothing to clear an hour. Like it takes me an hour just to cross the city of Houston. And the way they talk about it is just like, be so for real right now. You know what I mean? Like, stop. It's not that deep. And y'all have trains, so I don't know. I just thought I don't. It's weird to me. One last thing, Ashley. I do like the fact that when she was talking to Billy after the grocery store and she was explaining her position, I loved how she communicated that. I feel like her and Kieran are the best communicators out of that entire group. She was really clear. She was direct. She explained her position. She didn't accuse him of anything, but she was like, "Hey, I'm really worried about this. This is how I'm feeling. This is why I'm feeling like this. This is what I would like to see going forward. How can we get some resolution here?" It's like that was perfect. You know what I mean? Like if you're really trying to be a good married couple and walk away with resolution and not make it be an argument, how she did that was perfect, and she didn't avoid it. She didn't sit on it. She wasn't passive aggressive about it either. Like that's really good. Yeah.
Well, we could say she ain't like his mama who say the fruit is for you, but we gonna have them cookies. Trey, Trey, what you gotta say about Billy and Ashley? And do you put onions in your mince?
Damn well sure. What the hell? No, I'm sorry. That's not everybody. That's not everybody. Okay, so anyway, oh God, I'll start with the grocery store. That was the most ridiculous argument I had. It was the most ridiculous, serious, but also unserious argument I have seen in a while over grocery. Now, it is important because I'm going to piggyback on something Dolly had just said. This whole argument almost feels like it was set up just to see what our conflict resolution would look like, or how would that unfold. And it didn't dawn on me until Dahlia said something, the way she handled the conflict resolution, because if you notice, the way she handled it, he was on board with it. So, okay, cool, blah, blah, blah. Said all the right things, everything was smoothed over. So, interesting. Because the whole argument, everybody was correct what they said. Some of it was a little extra because if you notice the argument, it didn't start. It was in the grocery store. Okay, hey, ooh! It started when she saw the case of cookies and went, "Oh my God, case of cookies!" And she said, "It just goes." I think Tasha said something earlier about this, or was it Jr.? She said, "Oh my God, every time I see case of cookies, I just can't say no. I have to eat some." His ears perked up. Oh, wait a minute. Is this a problem? My ears perked up too. I'm like, you can't say no to cakes and cookies? I mean, okay. I don't take it as a big thing, but it could become a big thing. But me, I wouldn't have brought it up. I just been watching. Like, oh, okay. Now, what surprised me, I expected Billy's reaction to the case of cookies. I was like, nah, he ain't gonna be on that. He's a trainer. Nah, he eating in the military. Back when I was in basic training, we called them fatty cakes. Any type of sugar, dairy, or cake, ice cream product, it was called a fatty cake. And our drill sergeants were like, no, you can't have a fatty cake. Yet they'd be right there on the shelf looking at you to tempt you into getting it. But you can't have that fatty cake. If you have a piece of fatty cake, we're going to have to PT it out of you. That's what I got from Billy. So I understood it. I understood exactly what he saw when he saw them case of cookies. I said, nah. He ain't going to be with it. Now, here's the funny thing. His response was, yeah, I can't have that. I usually don't keep that in the house. I got to stay healthy, whatever. I can't preach to my soldiers about eating healthy, this and that, third, if I'm not following my own advice. Okay, cool. What interested me was Ashley's response to it. She looked like she was affronted. Oh my God, we can't have cake in the house? He never said that. He just said, I usually don't have it. So I usually don't eat it. She's like, I don't know if I cannot have cake in the house. Again, he didn't respond. He just went, I just usually don't eat it. He never said you couldn't. If y'all remember, he never said you could.
But Trey saying each slice is 600 calories is a judgment.
That's a fact. It's a fact, though. Now, if you want to take it as a judgment, yes, it could be perceived that way.
He also said he would find himself snacking on it. If it's there, he'll find himself snacking.
And guess what? I do the same thing. I don't keep chips and cookies at my house anymore because I would end up snacking on it, even out on the road. And this is something I had to force myself to do. I love chips with this and that third. I had to stop eating them like that because I'm literally sitting in one spot driving all day. That's not good for me. not good for your health. It's just a bad habit. When I started picking up some of the weight, I went, oh no, I got to stop this. Just a forced habit. I ain't stopping nobody else from eating it. Hey, you want to go ahead? Every now and then I still have me a little bag. I love my little jalapeno ranch chips, Lay's ranch chips, jalapeno, love them. Every now and then, get me a little bag. Boom.
Get out my house, Trey. Get out my house. That is what Mr. El Cid has just started bringing in the house. Jalapeno ranch chips. Oh my word!
We here.
Get out my pantry. He can have it. He can have that. I ain't. That ain't my poison of choice. Okay.
I just can't have it. I just can't have it at the house. So I get what he was saying, but I just found it interesting. And yes, it could have come off judgmental, but he never said she couldn't have it. She was acting like she couldn't have it in the house, but none of that was ever actually said.
It sounded like, to myself, to some people in the chat, like he don't want that around the house.
Of course. I probably don't want it around the house either, but I'm not going to tell you not to have it in the house. I'm going to just say I probably wouldn't have it in the house, and I'll leave you a decision up to you whether or not to bring it in the house.
And if I put it in a lockbox?
It's in your lockbox. I ain't touching it. I'm not touching it. But don't get on. It's one of those catch. When we're talking about eating healthy, this and that and third, it can quickly turn into a catch-22. Yes, I can quickly point out, there's 600 calories in this slice, this and that third, blah, blah, blah. I could give you all the fats all in the world, right? But you can do what you want. Now, years later, you complaining to me about putting on weight, this and that and third, whatever, and then get mad when I'm not responding in the way you want me to respond. I told you years ago about eating no 600 slice of calorie cakes, but hey, you don't want to listen to me. It's a catch-22. That's what it's going to turn into. And it happens like that. And not just with food, it happens with anything in life. It's just one of those subjects like, do I stand on this or do I don't? Because either way you cut it, when it come back around, as men, you usually get blamed for it. It's my fault. Oh my God, I told you years ago not to do that, but whatever. The thing about Billy, yes, somebody pointed this out. Billy in this job situation. Every time it comes up, I am more. I want to know what happened with this past cabin crew. What happened with that? Like something went down that was really detriment and bad. It ain't really have to do with Ashley. I think he generally likes Ashley. I do think he generally likes her, but her job is bothering him to the point where it's getting to ridiculous. Like, bro, because he made it a stickler back when it was a pause. Like, usually that would have been a no for me. But because I like you, I'm trying to give this a chance. And to the whole idea of, yes, she has been willing to say that she's ready to sacrifice that job for a family like this and that and third. Okay, cool. Personally, I'm not a big fan of her doing that, but if that's her decision, okay. Now, the reason I say it this way, Billy he may hear what she's saying, but he comes off as the type of person that, yeah, I heard you, but I'll believe it when you actually go through the steps of doing it. Because you can quickly say, yeah, you plan to do it 6 months down the line, and then 6 months come, and we still in the same spot. You've done nothing. Now what? He kind of comes off as that type of person. Yeah, you said that. That's cool. Now I need to see you back up what you said. Are you even taking steps to do what you say you was probably going to do? Because you knew this was a stickler of mine or one of my main points. Now, me personally, I still think he's being a little trippy about it because I have served in the military, and I'm in a career where I'm somewhat on the same page as Ashley. I'm away from home a lot of times, so I've always been minimal to the idea of anybody I get in a relationship with, they have to be okay with my career, and I have to be okay with our relationship and how it unfolds in this career. You know, even back when I was in the military, bro, we could be deployed. Like it's, I was married during that time. Me and my wife was in the military. We had separate deployments.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, and it took its toll. But we had
Mm-hmm.
separate deployments. But that's something we both understood
Mm-hmm.
going into this. This may happen. So the way he's acting about with her job, it's to me, it's less about her being away from home. Because let's keep be honest, bro. Yes, you could be quickly deployed, so you're gonna be away from home, and you're gone for most of the day. Usually, probably from 6 to 5. So you really at home either. What are you talking about?
Right.
Unless you're maid or something. You know what I'm saying? But what are we really touch seconds? What we really discussing? So that's why I'm like, nah. There's something is going on. That something happened with this prior cabin crew woman or something. Something bad happened that just turned him off completely to the point it's like the plague, and we don't
Somebody,
really know what it is.
somebody in the chat said that maybe his ex was a cabin crew member and she cheated on him. But I'm like, it
Could
don't
be
matter about what your job is. I mean, you can cheat if you got a corporate job. I mean,
a
my
cheater.
sister got a corporate job where she travels. I mean,
A
that's
cheater is going to cheat.
yeah,
A
that ain't
cheater
got
is
nothing to
going
do
to
with
cheat.
it to me. But
The only thing I will say, they can't there can be careers where if you're put in a certain situation, it's going to be a lot easier for you to step out than other situations. It's almost like going back to the military thing. And Dolly, I think you might, I think you know where I'm about to go with this. I wasn't shocked, but it was a thing to see what happens when someone goes on deployment and the things they do while they're on deployment. There are other relationships they be carrying on, this and that, and third on deployment, and people seen it was okay with it because it was on deployment. Could have been your last day, this we gotta live life and all that bull crap. But it's one of those situations when you're away. And the only thing that's holding you back is your own personal morals and standards that you set for yourself. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't follow their own standards that they have for themselves. They human beings are very weak by our design. It can be very weak individuals. We
So
just
Billy
can't. That's man.
Billy is
Go ahead.
standing by his morals. He's standing by the no cake. If this is how Billy gonna happen, what happened when babies come? But that's for them to figure out
yep,
if they say yes at the altar.
I was thinking the
So
same
I want to
thing.
go to. We have two more couples, y'all. I'm gonna go to the simplest one before we go to the, firecracker at the end. Okay. So is it a problem if we don't argue before we hit the altar? Y'all want to? I want like quick
Yes.
recaps if you can about Jed and Bardha. Remember they met her parents, his parents. His mama is like, okay, um, and she already redecorating his house. Okay, he got a whole house. So Dahlia, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I can. um, I do think it's a problem. I feel like, well, maybe argue isn't quite the right word. Maybe it's more like you need to feel comfortable enough to say your piece without worrying about how it's going to land with the other person. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying be an a-hole about it. Like, have some tact, but say your piece. You can't, like, don't sit and swallow it and then hope for the best. It doesn't work that way. You need to be talking about that stuff, especially for this kind of relationship where you don't have time on your side where you can really build up a history and you can see consistency in action. You don't have that, so you actually do need to open up your freaking mouth and talk. And I First of all, I love barter. I've my bad. I said this many times. I feel like barter is built like an Amazon. I want to see her. I want to see her in one of them DC movies where she plays like Hippolyta or something. I feel like she'd be so good in that. But anyways, I feel like she's really her character makes sense to me because this woman is coming from a war torn country. She's in England, and you basically got to get it out the mud, and that's a hard that's a hard thing to do where your family has to start over. And I'm quite sure because her family, or her parents at least, it sounds like they don't speak much English. They probably relied on her a lot because kids normally they're able to pick up languages a lot easier. So more than likely, they probably relied on her a lot to do stuff, and it aged her up quicker than she really had to. Because I see that a lot here in America, where because I'm in Texas, so we have like a lot of Hispanic people in the area, and I've dealt with kids where they're having to translate for their parents stuff that, quite frankly, they don't even understand what's happening, but they have to explain it to their parents and act as translators. The kids never get to have a life because the kids are always having to be around the parents to translate and make sure that the parents know what's going on. They're having to pay bills and all this stuff. And that story that she told about her mom getting cancer, and her mom is looking at her like, "What is the doctor saying?" She's having to explain that to her while she's trying to fall apart. That's heavy, man. I mean, that sounds like at this point now she's used to doing it. This lady is used to being on her own, while at the same time her parents are. It sounds like her the expectations of her family was that she is supposed to be like all the other Albanian women. It's like, okay, well, Albania is in the middle of a war right now. We can't go back home, and you've had me stepping in to be a third adult in this house for God knows how long, and now you want me to take a step back and do what you had mom doing? Absolutely not. No, I'm not doing that. That's silly. But then you got Jen over here, who very clearly comes from a traditional family as well, wants to step into a traditional role, and it's like that's cute if you got somebody who is into that. But Bart is very clear that she's not. So while I like their dynamic on a day to day basis, I think they're gonna clash, and I feel like they're withholding a lot because they like each other. Like I think they genuinely like each other. They seem to have a good time with one another. But it seems to me like they're not. It seems to me like they're not being fully honest with each other. Specifically, Jed, because Barta said her piece, but we didn't really hear from Jed too much about what he thinks about the whole situation. And I think that Lebanese side of him is a whole lot stronger than he's willing to share on screen. So I don't. To me, this couple can go either way.
Well,
It really
Jed
could go
said
either way. They can count it out.
Jed say he don't want to, control her. He wants to be a plus in her life. Tasha, I know you got to go soon from us, but you want to give in your perspective on this couple?
Yeah, I agree with some points that Dahlia made. And I can kind of relate to her, being the eldest of three, and I had a lot of responsibility. My mom at a certain point was a single parent for many, many years, and we were latchkey kids, and I had to take care of, my brother, and then my sister came along. So I get it. It's a lot, on her shoulders, being a child, and then now she's an adult, and that's a lot to unpack, to kind of reverse that mindset. I want to believe that Jed can help her to do that he's the type of man that can kind of help her do that. Kind of let her let go of that control that she has, that independence. And I get it. Every woman, even I feel like in a relationship, should have some sort of independence as well, individuality. But I feel like with her childhood, I think it's just so strong there, that she needs some kind of loosening up with that. And I, like I said, I really, really want this couple to work. And I really have been watching them. I feel like they're the only couple that are not getting in the drama. They're not talking about other couples, that's not on their radar. They're really trying to kind of embrace the process. but from the last episode that we just watched, I just caught up. It seems like they are going to have an argument, and I'm curious to know what that argument is going to be, what it's about, and can they withstand that? Because I mean, I will say, even if they didn't have an argument prior to walking, to prior to going to the altar, that's not to say that they're not going to have an argument after they get married, because they're going to have some disagreements. Number one, because there's a male and a female. We're different in that aspect. So there's gonna be something that you're not going to agree upon with that. So but I'm hoping for this couple. This is actually one couple that I think is really kind of normal like ish than some of the other ones on this show, that I really, really wanted to work between the two. I hope it does. I don't know. You never know though.
Yeah, I definitely hope it does too. They seem to have, a good, head on their shoulders for their relationship. Trey, you wanna jump in?
I guess to answer your previous question first, is there a problem with arguing in a relationship? What was the question? Should a couple argue? If there's a problem if a couple doesn't argue, what's the question?
The question is it a concern that they have not had an argument before they're entering into this, marriage?
To me, the answer would be no for the most part. It's because I have a certain viewpoint or the idea of arguing. I don't argue. I try not to argue. That doesn't mean we're not going to we can have a discussion about something. And sometimes the discussion may, be poignant. But all this dragged out yelling at one another, we're not doing that. Especially not with me. You can do that by yourself. I'll leave the room. But you're not going to be arguing with me. So I'm a little on the fence of like, argue? Nah, they don't have to argue for it to be a problem. But to another point Dolly said a while ago, you do need to come to understanding of how do y'all both, how do you rectify your conflicts? Like, what's your conflict resolution like? How do we discuss things if we have a disagreement on something? That's, to me, what's more important. You're trying to argue with somebody, it never really gets you anywhere. Honestly, it's just a bunch of yelling, and then people get used to that, and it could be an avenue into other things that could be more dangerous. When me and Elsie were talking about Jed and Barter last week, I brought up something that I'm seeing more of in the pods. Jed has always portrayed himself to be a very traditional man. He wanted a traditional woman. Okay. Barter portrayed herself as, I'm a traditional woman. That's what I wanted to be. I said last week to Elsie, she comes off more independent than traditional, which is fine, but that might be a little bit more misrepresentation of yourself, because some things going to come up. She's going to try and exert some type of control. I'm wondering how is Jed going to react to it, and I'm seeing more and more of it. These last 4 episodes, there's been certain situations where I'm seeing Barter push a little bit. Some of it, understandably. Some of it, I'm like, I don't understand why you're pushing here. There's no reason to push. And Jed, for his standpoint, it seemed like, especially in, hold on, what episode was that? I wrote it down. I think it was episode 6. Yes, it was episode 6. Barter was definitely trying to exert some type of control over the discussion they was having. And the only thing Jed did was trying to, he was trying to show her understanding of where she came from and the type of woman he wanted. This, that, third. It really seemed like he likes her a lot. So he's really trying to make this work just to get along. He's trying to get along with her. But she seems to be more and more pushing on certain things, which is, I guess, is fine. I don't mind it. You just gotta the way she's doing it is maybe what's concerning me. It seems like she's trying to get a reaction out of him to start an argument. So I'm like, I don't know if this is going to be the right way. Because when a real argument does arise, that's when real problems will ensue. And it really played out when they met his parents. And you could tell the mom, she was asking real questions. She was, and it was questions that neither Jed or Barter really had a good answer to. If you notice, it was the same situation with Sarova and Kyle. Like, she asked some very simple questions here, and y'all both are kind of fumbling on this, hoping just love to get us through. Now, the dad was over here. He liked what he saw. He's like, man, hey, I see you, son. Go ahead on. He is a get along husband with his wife. And he said it. Like, hey,
they mirror his parents. They mirror his parents.
And I think Jed is trying to emulate that within his father. That's why I could take, Jed has a lot of opinions, but he likes Barter so much, he's going to assume those and push those opinions to the side just to make her happy or just to get along with her to make this work. Now, that could be good and bad. Yeah. That could be good and bad. You know what I'm saying? It could be good and bad. But we're going to see. But yeah, he is trying to mirror his parents because that's what he saw. His mom is the forceful one, the one to speak up. And his dad is the one laid back and just let things go as they go. Barter is interesting. I don't know if Barter actually wants that in a man. Because the way she talks to Jed, especially back in the past, she wants a man to be a man and stand up and lead and be a little bit more forceful. I'm like, okay, but that kind of goes against your own mindset here. There's going to be conflict. That's conflict. So it's almost to the point like, I think she knows what she wants, but I don't think she understands what she's asking for.
But she's a little like Sarova because she also says, after, first date you woo me. After that, I don't mind paying or whatever. But then she says, my brothers would never let me pay. So, it's like she is around a whole bunch of traditional men. She knows what it is to be, taken care of by a traditional men, her brothers and her dad. Yes. So, I don't know what about the mold she's trying to, push away from.
It's confusing.
She is confused. We understand she wants a little bit of the independence, but is it from being a woman or is it being the responsible child? Mm-hmm. So that's my question with Barter. What, the same thing I put in my recap, what Dahlia said is children who have to translate adult conversations for their parents, they don't have a childhood at all. And they deal with adult conversation.
I had one more big point.
Go ahead.
I had one more big point that bothered me. I did not like Barter's friend Olivia. I found her
the same thing. She's too much.
I found her overly.
Yes, almost what she likes.
The whole time I was like, "You need to relax." Yes,
she likes her.
Yes, I wrote it down. I was like, "Yo, is she really in love with her?
You too much.
Is she really in love with her?"
Yeah, buddy. That's single white female all day long. Yes.
Do you? She seemed like the friend. Listen, that's a problem. Darling, that's a problem. Don't have a friend like that. That friend will have you single. You know what?
She will take you or your man.
You single.
Yep.
Yes.
She will take you or your man.
if she can't have you, nobody can. Okay.
Yep.
Be careful with that.
Yeah, she's too much.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. But in a situation like this, people like her and Sarova's mother, I appreciate because at least they asking some hard questions. They're like, hey, like this girl here, you can't just treat her any old kind of way. Let's be clear about that.
Rails, but she's a bodyguard. When you start saying your friend is your bodyguard, that means she is a blocker.
That's a problem.
That's a little weird. I'm not gonna hold you.
I have to say it sounds like It seems like the ugly friend keeping all the men away from the pretty friend. I'm sorry.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
There's a big difference between asking hard questions out of love for someone and being. You never saw Sorova's mom being rude to Kyle.
No.
Not once. She was hard on him. She asked him poignant questions, but she never was saying little things to disrespect him. Olivia was doing that.
Yep.
As soon as he walked in the door, didn't want to even shake hands with him. I'm like, whoa, hold on now.
Tangent is a good
Barda allows that. Barda's allowing
and
it.
That's another
I think
problem.
Barda gets off on it. So Barda is probably getting from her friends what she's not getting from her family. I have a feeling that they've been sucking up Barda's energy since they came to the UK, and a big part of it is because they have to. They rely on her a lot. So I imagine that friend of hers, she probably is overbearing, but Barda's like, you know what though? At least she's all about me, and I get to have my way in at least one relationship.
Well, it means that it means she's.
That's an unhealthy friendship there.
I'm about to start an argument.
Yes, friend. That's what you don't want.
I'm gonna say it. I'm about to start an argument.
I
like Barda.
Again, life is reality. Ain't spoke on this point yet.
Oh, okay.
He about to speak after I'm about to say this. He about to speak on this. Check this out. Barda is the type of woman who wants someone to obsess over her, and her friend is giving her that.
Yeah, she seemed like it.
Her friend is giving her that. She likes obsession. She's that type of chick. Obsess over me, love me. Even though obsession is dangerous, but she's that type of woman. Her friend is giving her that.
Yep. And I was gonna say that too, Dahlia, baby. She be on point with that face. You're not gonna see her without nothing, baby, ever.
Face card never declines. Life is reality. You want to talk about this couple? What are your concerns?
Well, to answer your question, should they have had an argument by now? Like, is that normal to not have had an argument by now? Listen, if you've had an argument by now, it is not meant to be, because it's still the early days. You're still meant to be in a honeymoon period. So if you arguing, butting heads, I mean, obviously there could be clashes in terms of difference of lifestyle and difference of opinions over things, difference in faith, whatever. But you don't need to argue about it. That shows a breakdown in communication. So no. But I think, having met the mom, there's going to be some arguments now, because the mom seems to be very strong. Nothing wrong with that. But now you've got Barda, who's kind of independent and strong too. That's where the clash is going to be. And then Jed may be in the middle, because he's got the two women in his life, strong personalities, and they may disagree on things. Barda may want him to do something, or the mom may not like the fact that Barda has told him to do something, or, and that's where the problem's going to be, because Mama's not backing down. Barda's going to speak up for herself too, and rightly so. So it's going to be like a tennis match for Jed. And Jed's dad seems like he's just either been beaten into submission where he doesn't need to really say too much. He didn't look too lively. He was supportive, but how many words did he say? We could count them on one hand, right? And those include hi and bye. So, so he looked like, he silently supports their union, but I think the mother was particularly trying to pick on their connection and sow some seeds and create some cracks that may become crevices. She really seemed to be skeptical of their relationship. And I don't think that's a good sign, because she may also be trying to keep Jed single until the right woman, in her opinion, comes along. Like, she has to have a say in who he dates. That's what that came across to me. Like, you met this girl on a TV show and you're going to get married straight away. So where's my opinion in this? That's how it came about to me. So I think I think they do have a good connection, a solid connection, a similar Eastern European background and whatnot. there's commonality there. And I do potentially see it working, but rather you can't want or expect a traditional man in every sense of the word when you've said that you're traditional, but you're quite flexible in your traditional attitude, right? So I would just say I think it may work, but I think the potential clash may be mother-in-law and wife, not necessarily husband and wife.
Oh, okay. Well, I know Tasha's got to leave. We only got one last one, and I want her to be able to say her piece. Okay, Kieran and Megan.
What can I say on them? I think I've said it before. I do think Kieran is probably he genuinely likes Megan. But she has a little insecurity about herself. And I think a lot of that has to do with her childhood and her upbringing that comes across. It's very subtle right now, but I think that may become bigger if they choose to get married. And I don't know how much of that he's going to be able to deal with. And not saying that he may not necessarily have insecurities himself, but I definitely think the attraction is there, sexual attraction. I think I said it earlier. He was very attracted to her. But I don't think that that's going to, carry them long term within the relationship at all. But I don't know. It's that one. I'm curious to see what's going to happen in the end with that relationship.
Because
But
keep in mind, have we met Megan's family? Because this was the family week.
I don't think so.
We did not.
They met his
Roommates.
roommates, right. But yeah, no, we haven't seen her side of the family, which they may
Very
be telling if we see that part. But yeah, I don't know. That couple is up in the air for me. I'm not sure if they're gonna make it.
okay. Well, thank
Yeah.
you so much for being with us today, Tasha. I
Thank
know you got to
you.
dip out.
Yep, I appreciate you all. Thank you
Hope
for
you'll
having me
join us.
today.
Hope you'll join us. I guess weddings is next week, and then the following week will be reunion.
I will. I will. Thank you,
Okay.
Elsa. Y'all have a good
Who,
one.
so
Bye.
Bye.
who wants to jump in next? Dahlia? I mean, you give me the faces. Okay.
Yeah, I'll get there. Okay, I was thinking through. Okay, um, them as a couple, I actually like. As far as I can tell, they're the only couple who are like romancing each other. I don't- I don't recall Ashley and Billy really doing that. Like you see them doing life together, but not like coupley romantic type stuff. And I remember seeing that with Kieran and Megan, especially Kieran taking her to that ballroom. That was very sweet. I like that, especially acknowledging that she's a dancer. I was like, okay, come on, Megan, with your legs. She was showing them off. She had nice legs. Okay, all right, that was cute. That was very cute. And I like how they operate together. Now, the only notes that I have really, and Trey already said some of it, was that conversation between Kieran, Megan, and Javin. Didn't like that at all. I don't like how Kieran was talking to Javin. I know Javin was wrong, but I'm gonna need you to take some of that bass out your voice, and you can take out all that crying. I don't know what you're crying for, because all that man did was talk to you, and it was a light touch. Okay, he can go harder. The fact that you were out here really boo hoo crying, where your man got to come and comfort you, girl, stop. Your dance teachers were probably meaner to you than Javin was, but he made you cry. You're not. That was not a serious. I'm sorry, that was not a serious conversation. That's weird. I don't like how Karen didn't all the way back her up. Either tell her she dead wrong or tell her that she dead right. But but don't that whole happen. Well, I mean, if that's how you feel, babe, that's how you feel. No, no, I'm gonna need you to actually have an opinion. I need you to clock all the way in, Karen. Say something, okay? And Trey is right. Like, if I'm getting into it, man, whether I'm wrong or right, in public, we are a unit. I need you to have my back. Don't let these people talk to me cash crazy. Now you can tell me I'm dead wrong behind the scenes. I did you, hey, baby, I need you to slow down a little bit. You do a little bit. You got too much dip on your chip. Cool, fine, no problem. But in public, as far as you're concerned, I'm always right. Okay, that's how we need to be operating, and I don't feel that from him. And also, I don't like how Megan was carrying on at that mixer. All that heat that she had for Sophie, it's like, okay, you clocked this subtle shade that she was giving you, and she was making fun of. I think Kieran had like a jacket or shirt on or whatever. The shirt was fine, whatever. Maybe Sophie was doing some shady stuff when she was making fun of the jacket. I couldn't tell. Sometimes you have to be there to get that energy to be able to tell when somebody is trying to be shady. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna take Megan's word that Sophie was being shady. Fine, because that's some girl stuff that is very subtle. Okay, but when she's explaining it to Kieran, it was weird because it felt like she was projecting onto him and she's questioning him about it and getting upset with him, and he didn't do anything to her. That was between her and Sophie. That had nothing to do with him. Kieran was actually being a stand-up gentleman, and he was staying by her side the whole night. Whether we thought that he was feeling Sophie remains to be seen. But Megan didn't have any reason to have any issues with Kieran, so I didn't like how she was coming at him, and I I don't love how she was handling Katisha. I feel like she's being messy. She's being real messy, and I don't like how she's moving. And I don't know if that's the producer, like, winding her up behind the scenes, because they good for that, right? Like they needed to figure out a way to get Javin out of that relationship. So maybe they had maybe they had Megan helping to play their role, but how she went about it, really not feeling it. Um, so yeah, that's my feelings on her. Now, as far as her family is concerned, um, from what I recall, she's the one whose dad wasn't around, right? Like he abandoned her. Okay, it's her mom. I'm sorry.
Her mom is
Did
the
both
one
of
that
these
had several relationships. She doesn't want to be like her. And the dad is the one that came to the restaurant and did not acknowledge her.
right? Okay, okay. So yeah, it makes sense to me that we're not going to see them. We're probably not going to see the mom. That makes complete sense to me.
But
And
we saw Kieran's friends. We could see Megan's friends.
friends. Does she have friends? Because she messy. So there's also that. Um, yeah, I mean it's. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is another couple where I don't know. Like I felt like I had a good understanding of how these people operate by the time I came out the pods, but now on the backs of these last 4 episodes, yikes. I think
Also Kieran is keep on asking her, I love you. You need to say I love you too.
yeah, yeah. That's okay. And I hear him on that. I hear him on that. And in normal situation, Megan would she should have all the time in the world, but you asking this man to marry you and you haven't said I love you yet. So that is a little weird. I don't know. I don't know. UK stressing me out. I don't know how I feel about these people. So
This ain't Germany. Germany was stressing you out.
oh my no, Germany was jokes. None of those people were serious. But these people, I don't know, they feel a little bit more serious, but it's just maybe it's production that's like making it like the way that they're editing scenes together. If you just leave feeling like, dang, do these people love each other? Do they want to get married? Do they know enough about each other? That's how I feel coming out of all of these couples and their scenes together. It's just it's
That's
you're
what
like you
5 through 8 is supposed to do. 5 through 8 is supposed to throw you off your square. I don't want Life is Reality to go last again. What you got to say about Megan and Kieran?
Yeah. initially I thought strong couple. As time's gone on, here we are. I see some trouble ahead. Now, just like we were speaking about Patrick earlier, how you bros with Javen when you've only known each other a short amount of time. Megan, how are you and Katisha that tight where you feel the need to go and interject as strongly as you did? Right? So that's what makes me think there's an ulterior motive there or two. But yeah, I think the conversation with Javen, how emotional she got, and she also used F-bombs, expletives, and kind of cursed him out as she got up and stormed out to the balcony and started crying. Why are you that invested? So this ain't your relationship. You're talking about someone else's relationship. All you were asked is, what did you say to Katisha? Right? And then when you said what you said, Javen said, no, it didn't go like that. And he tried to give some clarity and some context, and you couldn't take it. So, Kieran, you need to watch out, dude, because, I think Kieran could rightly say, you know what, she doesn't really know how to emotionally regulate. We've just seen her explode like that over something that isn't really important to our relationship. So what's it going to be like when she's emotionally charged about an issue that we have? So that would be my concern with them. And redheads typically are fiery, could be. Don't give me time out, Elsid, right? Telling you what it is like over here in the UK. The American redheads may be more docile, but over here, no, they flame hair for a reason. But yeah, so I'm just making jokes. But yeah, so I think her emotional regulation may have something to do with the stuff that's going on with her parents too, her relationship or lack thereof of her parents or their support in this particular show, this experiment. We don't know how frequently she's in contact with them about what's going on. So we don't know how supportive they are of her going through this process. And if she feels that she's going through it alone, then there may be some pent up feelings about that too. So, yeah, I do see some trouble ahead potentially. Do they make it? I think they have enough of a attraction in terms of before the pod, like when they're in the pods, before meeting. I think they have a sufficient amount of attraction post pods as well. But as I say, nothing is perfect. So I expect some bumpy roads ahead. And it really comes down to how she handles the conflicts or the situations that irk her. Because Kieran kind of seems to be on the level and communicates effectively and is expressive when he needs to be. Right? So that I think is key. I don't think he just flies off the handle and starts, blah, 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 blah. I don't think that's in him from what I've seen. Maybe he's a slow burner to get angry, but I see that Megan could just implode at any moment if she doesn't like the way something's going or something that's been said. So it's how they overcome that determines the success of their relationship, for what I see so far.
Trey?
Dahlia, I'm going to make a statement that's going to explain and partially answer some of the questions that you had for Kieran and Megan off of what you just said earlier. Megan is in a situation where her partner is arguably better looking than she is. She's dating a pretty boy. Okay? That's going to partially explain some of her insecurities and her vitriol to Sophie. and how she kind of carries herself with Kiri. Let that sink in right there. I just dropped tea. Put on the pot, JR. We're going to have a pot of tea right now.
You caught that tea, Dahlia? You got it? Is it too hot? Too tasty?
Think about it. Well, you even got to think about it that hard. And it started the moment she saw Kiri at the reveal. Because beforehand, she's just going off of what, their attachment. Actually, no, let me stop. It started before then. It started when she found out that Sophie was the other chick. She's like, okay, let's keep it real. Megan is not a good. She's pretty, but Sophie is Sophie. Let's keep it real. Sophie is Sophie. So she's looking at that. She's like, oh, I'm beating her out. This is crazy. So there's some elation involved in that. I'm winning against the pretty girl. Then you meet the guy, and he's just as pretty as the pretty girl. Oh, wait a minute. Now I got to keep the pretty boy. Now I have to keep the... And on top of that, as JR so eloquently pointed out, Kirian has been moving very well. Very poised, saying all the right things, being open and honest. In my experience, that does tend to put women on the back foot, especially when they're not used to it. That's when some of their own deficiencies start to show up and they're shocked for the first time. Like, oh, some of this, oh, wow, I could be the problem. They don't know how to handle it because they're so used for the guy to be the problem. This is what I see when I see how Megan been moving. Let alone what y'all exposed earlier, that Jarvin was one of her other connections as well in the pod. Oh, that explains a hell of a lot more about the way she was acting with him in the whole situation with Sophie. And on top of that, Sophie again. Oh, she's activated. And that can lead you to see things that probably is there, but you cause you to put 10 on 2. Like I said, I pointed out when I first came on here, her story started to change when Jarvin challenged her. Like, no. This is what Katisha said to me that you said. Now, let me put some context to this right here. This is what happened. And she started to flip-flop a little bit. And this is why I said Kirian was surprisingly very quiet, because I don't think he saw the same thing she saw. Not completely. He saw some of it. He's like, bro, because the only time he spoke up was like, listen, bro, you were talking to Sophie for a minute. He talked about the other girls. He probably saw that, or they were just having conversations like everybody else are in this room at this time. But yeah, I did see you talk to Sophie for a little bit, and y'all was getting into it. Or y'all was talking very close, blah, blah, blah.
Because Sophie was his connection. Because Kieran clocking what Sophie up to.
Yeah. So it's like, Phyllis is getting caught up in this. You know what I'm saying? They get caught up in this real bad. Sophie bothers her badly. And yes, I clocked it too. Sophie was being a little shady towards Kiri, and Megan overheard it, and she was feeling some type of way. Honestly, I don't think Megan did enough responding to Sophie. She should have went at her right then and there. But that's just me. Maybe that's the best side of me coming out with her. She was being a little shady. She had said that about that man.
How could you let him leave the house in that jacket, Megan?
Seriously? Like, for real? Oh, should have left house some drawers on. How about that? Nah, but it's just, you tell everybody you ain't got no drawers on. Ew. Commando, really? That's crazy. You don't know us. Ugh. But yes, Megan is in a situation where she seemingly is with a nice guy, his standards or demands he's asking for is not unrealistic. You know, he's a pretty boy that's interested in you. At least he's acting like he's interested in you. Part of her might be asking the question, why? You know, or I'm gonna just put this out here. Could Megan subconsciously be self-sabotaging? Just a little bit. Subconsciously. Just a little bit. You know? And honestly, I didn't really believe her when she told Kieran, I love you. Well, to be honest, I don't believe half of these people when they say I love you. Y'all all just met. Now, pause a second. I do understand love at first sight. When I was younger, man, I thought I was in love a few times at first sight. But when I got older, I started to realize that was more infatuation. Love is an act. It's a choice that you make day by day. You know, so now I say, you could be infatuated at first sight. Hands down. So I'm on the fence with Kieran. Yes, before I can marry somebody, I have to at least have the knowledge that we love each other. So I get that point.
What if Kieran wanted to be in the photo booth?
Oh, really? No, you just be messy, El. You just be messy. It just be messy.
He don't know that she called his jacket funky. He don't know that. He think he fly.
No, but he was kind of fly. What nothing wrong with his jacket? It was just a jacket. He was cool. He looked good in it. That's what really bothered Sophie. Sophie a bit. I can't wait to the reunion so we can get on Sophie too, because let's keep it real. Sophie, you could have easily, and this is also bothering Megan. Sophie could have easily have been in Megan's spot if she would have just opened up, and she knows it. That's the kicker about her. She knows it. She knows it. Megan, you ain't nothing. But she butt hurt because she lost to Megan. Because Megan, Megan did what she did in the past, talking all loud and stuff. Woo, look at my thimble. Woo! Okay, it's a thimble, but I get it. Okay, I get it. You know what I'm saying? But it easily could have been Sophie, and this is the sad part. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. That's an ouch. And that's an ouch you ain't going to really get over anytime soon. So Megan is dating a pretty boy, and she knows it. And if y'all ladies have ever dated a pretty boy, you understand.
And Sophie said he's only your pretty boy because I fumbled the bag.
She deployed the wrong strategy. If Sophie's used to, because she is so pretty, she looks like a doll. Because she is so pretty, my sister's like this. She's pretty too, and she's so mean to guys, and it's just like she knows she can be mean because the guys aren't going to go away. Like, so you're so pretty that they will tolerate the meanness, right? So you were deploying that same strategy inside the pods, but you forgot this man can't see you. All he has to go on is your mean energy and your mean words. But here's the kicker, though. She's so freaking pretty that even though these guys know that she's mean now that they see her, they're just choosing to have amnesia and they're sweating all upon her again. And it's just.
But it lasts but so long. That only lasts but so long.
Yeah.
It's just the fact of life. It only lasts up but so long. Because most men, it gets to a point where they finally their brains actually start working. They go, okay, so what else? What else is about you? And when there's nothing else, it's like, all right, just keep it moving. Right. That's amazing. Sophie said it. Yeah. She was like, I'm tired of being, treated as an object, and and just because I'm pretty, but she's trying to take care of that. I'm pretty. Just because I'm pretty, they treat me a certain type of way. She's tired of being used, but she still fumbled the bag because she still was operating like she was a pretty girl.
Right.
But see, Kieran is also pretty, so that means that he's not sweating her. I think Megan thinks that maybe she's she's a real threat. But Karen, Sophie's not his first pretty girl. It's like I don't think that that's really
Yeah.
going to be a problem for him. I really don't. And I'm curious to know, especially for you guys. My working theory is that I think that Cal and Patrick are both had a glow up. I think that they were unattractive guys for like the first half of their lives, and then at some point maybe the height kicked in, or their skin cleared up or something, and they started going to the gym because they give out real awkward vibes. I'm not really
Late
clear on
bloomer.
Kieran. I don't know. Yeah, like real late bloomer type. But I'm not clear on Kieran because I'm looking at his friend group and I'm like, you are head and shoulders above them. I don't know how y'all got to be friends, and I can't tell if he was always
He's
attractive.
a nerd.
Yeah, he's a nerd. Is he like Henry Cavill, where it's like one of them
Yeah, he's a
rare
nerd.
people where he's just like all around
Yes.
cool? I don't.
Yes, he's a nerd.
Wow. Okay.
That's
He's
his
still a nerd.
Yeah,
He's a
video
nerd.
game
He's a
nerd.
nerd.
Video game
Yeah.
nerd.
So
It's
Right.
only
he was a
recently.
good-looking guy that hung out with the nerds.
It's only
He was a
recently
good-looking
that
guy that hung out with nerds.
it's only recently that gaming is considered a lucrative career. He would have been seen as wasting his life. What woman would want to be with a man that's playing video games all day?
Well,
Great.
that's I don't know. The video game industry has been a £1 million industry for a long time, right?
But if you say that in dating, is she going to
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's more than just playing video games. I think he's a developer, so he actually makes video games. So he's on the creative side of it.
Yes, he's a developer.
Yeah, so that's where the lucrative thing comes in. But you have to be a nerd to be able to study the codes and scripts and sprites and all these different things.
He's
Right.
sold a few games, and he's the Benaiah of the season, is what they're saying.
Right, but
He got money. Okay.
Right, so he's got money. He's on the creative side of things. Now, the thing it's like a web developer. Like video game developing is very similar to web development, and you use pretty much the same process and the same scripts. Because animations at the end of the day. But yeah, you're right about Sophie. I think she forgot that you can't see the person on the other side of the screen, and they can't see you. So when you're putting forward the energy of, I'm not going to open up until I see you, then it's like, well, this is the vetting process right here, right now. I can't, propose to you based on what you're giving me. And where she fumbled the bag, there'll always be someone else to catch and hold that bag and clutch it like it's a Birkin or something like that, So she fumbled, and she has to be mad at herself, if anything, not mad at anybody else. The other thing is she has this, maybe it is because she has like a pretty privilege, or she meets the European beauty standard, why she has like an obnoxious demeanor to her. But in reality, that only gets you so far. Like Trey said, beauty gets you through the door, but afterwards, when the door's closed, how are you like to be with? What kind of experiences are we going to have together? Are you going to be self-centered? Are you going to be, does everything has to be about you? Do I have to, are you telling me I have to drink your bathwater in order to be in your good graces? So, yeah, she should be mad at herself. And I think what she's trying to do is get her lick back by going around flirting with the other guys, getting to know them or whatever. At the end of the day, you know that some of these guys are already in relationships and they've picked their person. So for you to go and chat to them in a flirtatious way, it seems like you're trying to tempt, or at least sow some seeds of dissension in some of these couples. And it wouldn't, from what I've seen of her, I wouldn't put that past her either, right? Because she wants to be chosen. And what better way to be chosen than if someone says, you know what, even though I picked this partner, now that I've seen Sophie, I'm going to go over there. Right, she would love that, right? Still somebody's man. But I think Kieran made the right choice. He went with someone who was more vulnerable, more open, and he didn't see the emotional side of it obviously, because there's no instances that brought that out of Meghan. But now that he's seen it, it's whether they can weather the storm. And Sophie needs to, look for someone on the cast that didn't get chosen. And there's quite a few of them. Some of them didn't even get that much TV time. So it's not over for her. But with regards to these men that have chosen relationships and whatever, the door's firmly closed. Let them enjoy their process. You didn't get chosen. So, onwards and upwards after that. And Kieran, just don't rise to the bait. Ignore Sophie. She had her chance. She blew it. Focus on Meghan. And, you're going to have some stuff to deal with Meghan. So don't even get involved in Damola and Javan and all these other dudes and all that. Focus on your relationship.
Well, y'all, that was all the couples. That was everything. I don't even want to do predictions because we don't know what has been withheld from us, what has been shown to us. We don't know how this has twisted and turned because the couple we gonna think is gonna be all in, maybe all out. But I do know there's gonna be some crying, there's gonna be some broken hearts, there's gonna be some all kinds of stuff. What they're not gonna have is a skateboard at a wedding. Okay, shout out to Love Is Blind Minnesota. I want to get the final thought from each of you, if you can. Give me a couple sentences. What is your final thought? What are you looking forward to with this last part, the weddings? Trey, you want to start us off?
Let's get to it. Let's see who gonna fold, who gonna stand. So I'm ready to get to it now. You see what they're gonna do.
Happening in 2 days. Life is reality.
Yeah, definitely interested to see who says yes, who says no. Obviously, will some of these decisions be impacted by how the families received their relationships? Will there be further spanner in the works with other incidents that happened before the vows? So yeah, I'm interested to see how it goes for the next couple episodes for sure.
Dahlia?
I want to send a special shout out to production for UK. I think that they make the best casting decisions. They have the best editing out of all of the franchises. I genuinely can't call it, and I actually do want to tune in, which is a rarity because I normally tap out by like episode 10. So, yeah, they did a good job, and they got pretty people up on here. So yeah, good for them.
I want to thank all my panelists for being here. We almost 3 hours, but y'all, we will be back next week. Next week we will be covering, of course, the weddings, and then the following week with the reunion. Depending on the time of the reunion, I gotta thank Sam. Maybe I'll do a watch, maybe with my members, and watch the reunion live with my members. Okay, maybe I'll do that and see how that will go. But it depends on date and time. But Love Is Blind does not end with UK September 10th. Love Is Blind Brazil season 5 for the seniors comes out, as well as the one for France. And I'll be doing weekly lives, at least for Brazil. But if I have enough interest in France, I will be doing the recaps. But I'll see if I'll do a weekly live for France. Let's see how that goes, because there'll be 8 episodes every Wednesday that I got to get through. And I'm glad y'all are here getting through this live with us. And I hope you continue to support the channel. And we will be back. I don't have the full panel. They are certainly welcome to come back. But we will be back next week. Make sure you are liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channels. And we'll see you next time.